No, shut down, but not shut out, ready to take on these markets another day. And again, shout out to all the support in this community. It sounds like a lot of people had a bit of a different week, and I think it's one week that will certainly be worth journaling about aggressively. But yes, so we will, thank you to you, Bears vs. Bulls. You're killing it every single day as well. Also, Bears vs. Bulls wishing Sharif a happy music fest. So shout out to you guys. But we'll see you guys next week, same bat time and same bat channel. We do, though, have Obi and Neil on that big desk, and with Sharif at the green screen. See you guys.
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, everyone, the show where you decide what we talk about every day. As Adara mentioned, Obi's here for Sean. Neil's locked and loaded. They're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you, so make sure to join Adara and I on How to Trade Midday Show and get into that chat and vote for the tickers every day, and we'll look at them for you over here. Let's start with the futures. The triple Qs strong on the day. They're up about 0.4 right now. We got into that pre-market high, breached it, and then we took a bit of a nosedive, dropping below 18.6 on the NQ September contract, and that had the Mag 7 really pulling back a little bit here. Strongest on the day, Apple and Meta, great day for both of them, and they're both positive. Apple up 1/5 right now. It is the #1 name as selected by you guys. Again, no real headline today for most of these Mag 7 names, but Apple, guys, catching a bit of a bid here.
The headline is, when there's blood in the streets and when there's panic in everybody's mind and hearts, that's usually a good time to buy. Because what happened, we'll go to Apple in a second, but what ended up happening is rewind back to Monday, which seems like forever ago. And in the morning, I remember the chat, what are the halt down limits for the overall market? What would it mean if can the Fed do an emergency rate cut? Is that a possibility? Like, all of these things were getting talked about in Monday morning, and by the time you got to Monday afternoon or Monday late morning, it was all an afterthought. But there was one hurdle left to go, and that was the Friday. Could we actually get green on the market and break those Friday highs? Yes, we can. And Apple did it too. So this is Apple. It didn't do the gap fill that I was expecting. It wasn't nearly as strong of a breakout. And I'll hate myself for maybe getting out of this at the high of the day only to see it accelerate. Like, I pivoted from this to Tesla to see Tesla go $1 and to see Apple continue to go $1.25, and we already had it. So I was short Apple initially. But you know what? Eventually, once it didn't work, I reversed it in here above the 14. It was a good scalp trade. When it lost the bid, I saw it make this bottom. I'm like, okay, it got me out. I'm out here. I see the bounce. At that point, we finished the show right about 11. I missed that move back into the upside on Apple, but it then connected the trend over here. The second I saw it doing that, like, we're going long into the high of the day. So I saw it connect the trend from the early break to here to there, and it's just like long it on the trend line to the high of the day, scalping it to resistance, and then once it breaks resistance, hold to the high. I think I want to observe this trend line hold for the rest of this afternoon. It feels like we could be on the back end if we lose 18.6 and maybe give a little back. But what a powerful, you can't take anything away from this move. Even if the market gives something back this afternoon, you just can't take anything away from how strong it has been up until this point. So what a day. A day where even Beyond Meat can go to the upside. That's the kind of day it's been. And it's only 0.5% on the NASDAQ. It just feels like more.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the gap fill was something a lot of people were looking for, and we finally kind of started pushing towards that. Right, if we're referencing closing prices on Friday, yeah, we were talking about this. Apple kind of a chop here, and then a breakout of that 1350s area, 1348s right there, pushing. Prior day, didn't quite make it, but today finally we're starting to get that little bit of a leg up at the end of a week, again, where we had that strong panic, and we've only been kind of bidding up from there. So let's see how we end off. Can we get to the closing price? I don't know if we're going to get there today, Neil. Those are in the 2020s, but maybe sometime next week.
No.
We'll see.
We're not getting
Upstart reported earnings earlier this week, and they beat. I mean, it was good. It was a good report, but analysts were concerned about continuing profitability as well as that very high short float today. Second day play for Upstart, another good day, well off the highs though, still 7.5%. I was able to take the short right around this volume weighted average price area. It was able to hold VWAP, but it was zigging and zagging. Did dip into that 36 area to stop a lot of people out. That was an interesting one on the midday, but looking good right now, guys. 7.5, not bad.
Theme of the week, it feels like was, it was a bit every single day stair step to the upside. And for these earnings type names, it was just continuation, continuation, continuation. Now, there's no point in me talking about Palantir because we're going to get to that one next. But that was the one that we liked a little bit more, and it is what it is. So Upstart, this was a missed opportunity. And I know full well, and I'm going to show you guys Palantir when we talk about Palantir. There was no chance we're going to catch this when the focus at the open was on Palantir trending into $30. So I think it lulled everybody into a sense of malaise here because it pulled back after a couple of gaps up, held the middle, was at the middle, gave it up, broke the low. It's like, okay, well, that doesn't look great. It's too far from the high. Nothing's happening. Holds on to the line at 33, and then you get the breakout. A bit of a rejection candle here in Upstart, but if it closes above 36, that's bullish. If it closes above 35, that's not bad. So I still think there's a chance that this has something. The volume really picked up. It has died down. That's why I don't know how excited I am to trade it this afternoon for a continuation play. Seems like a lot of eyes went over to Beyond Meat, which I suppose we'll get to in a couple of tickers. But yeah, I think the lesson here with Upstart was anything that's giving those big moves on earnings. And this week it was Shopify. We had Uber doing big moves for multiple days, Palantir for multiple days, Upstart for multiple days. You just didn't want to get away from it after day one. Novavax is another example. Ridiculous bounce after being down huge, and then a little bit of continuation at the open today. That's what you got to look for. I know we all like the Mag 7, and they're great to trade, but every now and then you get moves like this on Upstart, and when the continuation happens, you're not going to get opportunities like this out of, like, Apple's great. There's nothing wrong with it. But you're not going to get opportunities like this kind of a break at 35, and it just goes 10% clean. Like, it goes right to 38 before you even get a red candle on the 15-minute. Like, that's just not, the way that moves is not going to happen on the Mag 7, rarely anyways. I mean, every now and then. I mean, Tesla's done it before every now and then, but special moves here for earnings continuation this week.
Yeah, definitely. We're seeing that across a few names. Something interesting about Upstart that I kind of was watching is that we get that RVOL coming in a day before earnings report, 2 days before earnings report. Nice little bid up. But yeah, definitely a stair step happening off of some of these lows. 1995 were the lows right there on Monday, and then we've since been getting that strength back to the upside again. Market tailwind as well. We were talking about some of these tickers kind of trending up on the week, and maybe perhaps that might be giving some tailwind for those multi-day moves, right? But yeah, I like this leg consolidation, and look at that. We're attempting another leg, a little bit less, I guess, aggressive as some of the price action we've had, obviously, on day one. But day three continuation, pretty solid here, holding that 36, looking interesting. Something I do want to note is that PLTR 3030, there's about 3,000 lots, and this thing is still holding and going.
That's next.
Yes. Okay, right. That is next. I'm jumping the gun. Sorry.
All good.
Yeah.
You front run my line, Obi. I was about to say $30 came and went on the midday. There you go. Yeah, but that's exactly what happened, guys. $30, a local area of resistance on Palantir. We were all anticipating that this was going to get breached on a positive earnings report. Then came the Monday sell-off, and Palantir took a big hit, much like the overall market. But as you can see, working its way back in a big way. Couple of headlines today, or sorry, not today, this week for Palantir. Obviously, they reported beating on the top and bottom line. We covered that ad nauseum, but there was this headline as well. Microsoft and Palantir now looking at developing some sort of relationship, military relationship, to use Microsoft Azure in a classified environment, guys.
Palantir was on one but it was a weird one today. It wasn't necessarily like it ended up doing what you wanted, but it wasn't necessarily the way that it's traded the last couple of days. And we talked about this in the lesson of the day. I have more executions on Palantir. Like, I have as many executions on Palantir as probably like almost every other momentum stock I traded combined. And that's not normal for me, but that's just the way that it was moving today. So what were you going to do? PLTR, in terms of continuation after earnings, every other day had been huge volatility, even good volatility on a consolidation type day. You had another 10% kind of day and then a big, double-digit run yesterday into what was a huge 30 level, which you can see on any higher time frame. But then when the market opened, it went from looking like it's going to hold VWAP to run into 30 to just scalping everywhere. And I was scalped off VWAP, stopped out at the opening range bottom to jump right back into the trade, then holding higher lows, then dipping out into VWAP to getting stopped out, to re-entering, to going long into 30, and we're long into the 30 level, then we're taking the 30 break. Like a little bit of everything with Palantir. I haven't made a trade since it lost 30 bucks. I kind of felt it was going to pull back to VWAP at that point. And it's still going higher. And that size you just talked about, Obi,
Taken out.
they just took it out at 30.30.
Yep.
So while the market's pulling back into 18.6 and kind of losing a little bit of those highs, Palantir is just churning and churning higher as we speak. Super impressive. But this was all kinds of it wasn't normal the way that it went here today. Like, it wasn't super clean like an Upstart or anything like that. You just had to have your spots where you liked getting in, take your shots to take profit, find other good entries and some bottoms when buyers would step into it to the best of your ability. And the only mistake is an obvious one, was taking a break. Because once this happened and I got out of the rhythm, I just wasn't really thinking. This happened, liquidity grab underneath 30, probably stopped myself and then probably stopped other people out here. And then it just regained it and it's just been trend up ever since. So I know he just went Holyfield because I don't usually trade that way at all. But that's how Palantir was moving. And it's not normally my style. I kind of feel like if it's going to 30, you want to hold to the big level. But it was never really trading that way. It's stop at 75, stop at 75, stop at 75, stop at 85, stop at 80. Like, it just, what are you going to do? If it's trading that way, you almost have to respect it and just go with the flow.
Yeah, definitely, Neil. I have a lot to learn from that chart. I guess like that, I think in my opinion that is like one of the ideal ways to kind of churn through it, create that cash flow, and then accumulate a core inventory for taking it through the level, right? And that's exactly what Neil's chart definitely looks like. And he's like, yeah, he doesn't normally trade like that, but when the price action dictates, he's fluid enough to be like, all right, I'm gonna roll with the punches and kind of just work with the price action. And again, always an honor to sit beside experienced traders here. Solid executions there that I can definitely take away from. But Palantir, straight trend to the upside. Again, we talk about what it's been doing post earnings, right? Take a look at that dip prior to earnings there, and then earnings comes out, consolidation. We talked about this kind of channel range type of thing that was going on here. We hold the earnings anchored right there, and then we broke out of the channel yesterday. Today we pull back into prior day's end of day consolidation, and the bid catches again, and we've just been grinding to the upside since. 30.36 right now is the high. I do have an alert here. Looking back at it, take a look at the weekly here, and you can see these highs from early 2021, a bit of a gap fill above, what is that price right there? That high is 30.44.
No, these guys are spoiling the track and field, like right over here. I hear Yannick talking about the track and field, and Sharif is over there like, what's going? Please don't spoil the track for me. I asked one thing. Please don't spoil the track and field. I'm a huge track and field. It's my favorite sport that isn't baseball. Every night I go home and I just replay every ounce of the Olympics track and field, and I just want to not know what's happened. I know there's big things going on. So I'm trying, and I want to be able to look at the chat, everybody, too. Like, I want to answer your questions. I want to talk about the symbols that you guys want to talk about. But I feel like if you put spoilers in there, then I'm not going to want to look up, which is part of the game. Let's get to Beyond Meat because it's tanking. The market lost 18.6. And NVIDIA, just a couple of things here. We're not going to talk about NVIDIA. NVIDIA just lost 105 here and lost VWAP. Apple's back to 215.50. It's challenging. It's moving. I think it's challenging the 9-minute right now. Palantir also had a pretty significant drop. It's pulling right back into the low 30s. And let's get to Beyond Meat because I have no idea what the heck was going on with that stock.
Oh, yeah. Check that out.
Yeah, neither do I. And I just looked again, looking for the news headline. We're not seeing the news headline come out, but they did report, guys, earlier in the week. It was a mixed report. They beat on earnings, missed on EPS, slight miss on EPS, but the short float is ridiculous. It's about 39.33% of the total available shares on the market are being used as a short. It gave up that 7.5, as Neil said. It was holding 8 for a long time. We tried to look at that on the midday for a possible 8 hold. It was zigging and zagging. We're still not sure what's going on. 14 3/4 up right now, guys.
When you go 1 for 3 in baseball, it's great. I went 1 for 3 on Beyond Meat, and it's flat. And mostly because the second it started going up and I couldn't find a news story, I turned to Sharif and I was like, I can't get locates fast enough here. And I was like scrambling. I'm like, let's get some shorts because you have to pay for shorts here at Real Trading on some symbols, Beyond Meat being one of them. They weren't free. They were like 1/8 of 1 cent per share. So like if you get 100 shares, it's like like nothing. It's 12 cents. So at the end of the day, I tried it here off the highs once. It wicked me out. Try it again off the local high. And this is when it really started cresting, like the biggest cresting on volume. Then there's this big volume spike and then a pullback. Like it starts revving back up. I'm like, okay, this is a spot. $8 is the level on the daily. If you go back, you'll see it. So I took that shot. Then it halted, which made things a little bit more clear. But then I really missed my entry. And it reopened. Tried to take out the halt high, which is like through $9. Got to $9.25. I tried getting short back through 9, missed. I tried getting it on this move back up to about $8.95, missed again, and then settled for $8.75. But then at that point, I'm not getting all in because I'm too far away from the high. Ended up stopping it out on the first available bounce. Bit of a missed opportunity because when there's no story whatsoever, like my brain is just like, okay, well, if there's no reason for this, then why would Beyond Meat be going? If they have a catalyst, fine. But if it's just absolute air, then I'm looking for a curl and I don't want to chase the move. If you get it down here, great. I'm never making that chase when it's already gone, like 25, 30%. If you get a break and happen to be saying, okay, break of the high of the day, consolidation just above the high, you could be long in here, and that's the 680s or so. That previous high is like 75, or that's down. That's maybe 15. That's like 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents early to the move, and you got room to go. Up here, I'm never chasing, unless it's like a GameStop rare situation where something is actually happening. But yeah, so Beyond Meat, I feel like it's on the back end of it. I don't really see much of any reason to trade this in the afternoon unless it somehow goes all the way to the bottom and tries to bounce. Or maybe if it can miraculously get back to the high, that would really catch people off guard. But down here, it's come and gone. Either you had the short at the top or off this lower high, or you caught it early. That's about it.
Yeah, so I was talking to Neil earlier. I did not know. I was not at my desk while this happened. And I'm like, wow, okay, Beyond Meat halted up. What was the news? We definitely have to be some sort of intraday catalyst, right? I guess not. But so something interesting. Note, we kind of like we had a couple of high volume days. Looking at the weekly here, let's go down to the 15-minute. Kind of it pushed up into some of those prior levels right there. Stopped at 924s. But yeah, no real news. Looking like it was a great reversion trade, Neil, because I think you said you couldn't find, well, you tried looking in the moment and there was really nothing there for it. But
we got him eventually. I offered first and then was like, oh, we don't have any locates. I tested it.
Yep.
And then I was like, then I had to go over to my browser to go to Metro to be able to get the locates online. And of course, it gets right at the level on the daily. So at that moment, like I'm fumbling through, and it's a really easy process. Yeah. But I'm bungling it because I'm getting the FOMO that this is going to be the turn, and it's going to halt down without me or some nonsense, and then it just kind of halts.
I mean, it's been kind of slowly kind of coming in. Yeah, the first 3 minutes after that halt, I'm going to assume the halt up was on this candle, 1342 right here, because kind of a flat top maybe in there as well. I don't know. It's yeah, I guess somewhere along the way. But yeah, pulling back since then, and take a look at where we kind of retest in the 840s. Let's see if we can get 100% reversion here. But I guess you had to be there for that one, Neil.
Wait a minute.
Tesla, the last one on the afternoon rundown over here. Again, no real headline for many of these Mag 7 names today, but there is this little tidbit that caught my attention. Cybertruck purchasers in Canada, get ready because delivery is coming soon. Slated to start delivering in October and November of this year. Fundamentally different prices, though, on this side of the border for the Cybertruck. The Founder Series is going to run you about 138,000 Canadian dollars, equivalent to about 100,000 US dollars, and then it just goes up from there. So again, Tesla up 0.25%, no real headline. What's a look?
Before we go to Tesla, Genius Group, I should say, it resumed trade after a couple of days halted. It was a news halt. They're higher after the company announced its board has approved the purchase of up to 10 million shares by founder and CEO Roger James Hamilton. RJH. I have no idea who Roger James Hamilton is, but he wants to buy shares. They're going to let him. That's what reopened after a couple of days down, and it's moving to the upside. So that's what's going on in Genius Brands. I had 2 trades on Tesla, and one of them should have just been the reversion. And it's weird because usually I would go the other way on a trend like this, but I went this way, and then I had the 200 break. But this morning, Tesla was trending down. High, lower high, lower high. Like, it really held this trend very well. And then I allowed myself to see that trend. Usually you'll see us do reversions on something like this. 99 times out of 100, if there's that steep of a trend line on the stock, I'm thinking the trade is going to be the break up. I mean, it is, because the risk to reward favors a reversal of trend there, as opposed to like a continuation into the chop where you're mostly scalping it off the low here. And for whatever reason, I decided that's the perfect spot to risk 40 cents on Tesla. Well, that was the wrong place. That was the spot to risk 40 cents long because VWAP was $2 away. So I got that one wrong and then didn't do anything till it broke out the 200. Not the strongest of breaks, in my opinion, and I think that's exemplified with what you're sort of seeing here. It's back underneath that level. Still like the idea that you're holding some higher lows, but it's gone stair-step down, pretty much lockstep with the futures right now. So the futures got that high, and that's the top of the break. Didn't really see, when I'm seeing this in the NASDAQ, I'm not really seeing any good reasons to reload this in here the way that we're coming back in. So yeah, it was an impressive rally on the week, and I don't think you can take much of anything away from it, but there's a lot of signs that things have really slowed down here. If we can get back above 18.6, get back above 200, Tesla's going to look a little bit more interesting here. So let's see what happens with it. It needs to get back above 200. Watch those futures pretty closely as well. I mean, NVIDIA's having a better time getting above VWAP here. And then Apple's been continuously strong. It's holding 215 and up 1% already.
Yeah, strong dip. I guess back into previous levels this week. 181s. We were talking about some of this multi-year trend resistance. We did kind of get above it, but again strong selling pressure over the past few weeks. You can see 1, 2, 3, and then a gap down into 180s. So yeah, Tesla definitely dancing with that 200. Again, bit of a gap fill already happened in the pre-market on Tuesday, and we've been trading relatively lower to some of those prices there as well. But sideways consolidation, Tesla, not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad at all. And the only position I'm still in, as you can see, I mean, you're in Uber, which I think has got to be a reversion play. Been short Intel pretty much the whole way here. I'm curious what's going on back there. I think are you talking soccer or me? Yeah. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I forget. Yeah, okay, that's fine. No, I just saw them talking like I don't know, like talking Olympics. I know they're talking a little bit of football before. So I'm in Intel right now, down 3%. As you can see, this morning when everything was catching a bid, Intel was kind of doing the Intel thing. Outside of yesterday, Intel's been a short every single day. So the profitable thing to do has been, since earnings, to just pick a spot, breaks down, short the previous area, pick a spot. There's that, there's that support. turns into resistance, short that, same resistance, short that, same resistance, short that. And then yesterday that stopped working at the $20 level. Don't really need that anymore. And then today it just started working again when the market was breaking out. So was short on the way down, never really got everything that I wanted out of it. And it comes right back in to retest 20s in here. So I'm not even sure I want to give it the 20s. It's now holding. It's done a very big recovery with a bull flag. I feel like if it breaks 90, 91, should just dump this, because the general pattern has been when it starts on this path, if it sees a recovery like this, you take your shot at the short. And if it's only the scalp trade that it seems like here, don't get trapped. The stock is down so much. And when you're at lows like this, and when I say this, let me pull up a weekly chart because that's the only way to do justice here for Intel. Like when you've done this already, it doesn't take much. When a stock gets beaten up really badly, it's pretty obvious. It's hit so far down. Small moves are bigger percentage gains, so therefore the bounces can be a bit more extreme, and you just have to temper your expectations when it starts trending to the upside if you happen to be short. So still watching that beyond meat. I don't know if there's going to be a secondary trade in it. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. And then a lot of people have been saying GameStop was running. I didn't see any follow through when I looked at it. Like I know it broke out 22, broke out the high, but no follow through just yet. After seeing what Beyond Meat did, if it's one of those Fridays where the market doesn't want to do anything extra, you never know. There could always be some small caps or runners that want to follow in Beyond Meat shoes for absolutely no reason. And if that's the trade, that's the trade. You know, adapt to the market that you happen to be in.
Yeah, I'm. What was that? Okay, yeah. So I'm still kind of watching PLTR. No, I think I just tried to open something and my screens went a little blank. But it was asking for that. You know when they go blank, admin permissions or whatever. Yeah. Okay, so Uber coming in for a bit of a reversion to VWAP here, back through the 50s. Let's see, VWAP at 68.30s. Let's see if we can get that bit of a selling off of the open there, aggressive selling off of the open, back down into 67.80s, and we're coming right back into some of those consolidation highs here. Let's see how far we can get down here on Uber, 68.41s. But Palantir, oh boy. That was definitely the one, and I did not re-engage on the 30 reclaim. Lots of size happening on the 30, still holding this trend as of right now. So let's see, markets pushed all the way to 18.6s. Some of those pre-market session highs testing as of right now 18.660. 18.670s are the highs, and we're taking a little bit of a pullback. 3 15-minute candle reds on both the ES and the NQ. And yes, some of these constituents are definitely pulling back a little bit. Apple coming into VWAP, Spider coming into VWAP as well. Amazon still chopping and churning around that 167 we were speaking of this morning. We did kind of break down a little bit of consolidation levels, but we held 166s on Amazon, and we've just been kind of ranging since then. But Alphabet actually broke day high, and we were talking about Alphabet in the pre-market. We were like, why is that selling?
Exactly.
There's no real. I guess we couldn't really find anything that would explain why it broke back below prior day's lows. Let me pull up the chart so you guys can see what I'm talking about right here. So I'm gonna pull up the Google, and oh boy, all right, 68.40s coming in on Uber. Let's see what's going on. 161.50 trading at right now, but 159's holding at the lows. What's going on, Adara?
On Genius Group, GNS. This was that one that had that hold for a few days there. So basically what happened is on August 7th, we had the announcement that the company approved, or the board approved the company's 10-for-1 reverse stock split. This was waiting since February 16th. So we had shareholders approving it February 16th, 2024. Board approving it August 5th, and it was announced here on Wednesday, August 7th. Then the same day, we had CEO and founder Roger Hamilton releasing some statements on Twitter that were interpreted as guidance, also saying that the best birthday gift that he would be getting would be a proposal to be able to purchase up to 10 million ordinary shares, because August 7th was also his birthday. Now we open back up with the news that Roger James Hamilton, again, founder and CEO of GNS, has been granted the ability to purchase up to 10 million ordinary shares. To recap this whole 2-day saga, basically, Genius Group set for a 1-to-10 reverse stock split. Not sure when the date of that split is set to take effect. They have not announced a date. And also 10 million ordinary shares to be purchased by founder Roger James Hamilton, guys.
RJH, do your thing, Roger. But that's it's actually kind of calmed down here a little bit. The volume tapering off. It's still holding a bit of a higher low here. So higher low off VWAP. There we go. Higher low off VWAP for Genius Brands, but really tapering off on volume. Like I'm not seeing it. Like it's a 20-cent stock. It's done 35 million shares. Why is this a 1 minute? Oh, I know. I went to a 1 minute because I wanted to be able to show. I don't like a 1 minute chart. But I was doing a 1 minute so I could show Beyond Meat to Obi a little bit better. And a lot of times you can see those intricate moves a little bit better. That's why I do it. But the level 2 out here on GNS is not exactly, you know, like, see the bid? That's not the kind of bid I expect with a 22-cent stock. It's not what you usually want for liquidity. You see some liquidity in there, but not nearly as thick as I would expect. So yeah, it's moving around, but always have to size accordingly on every position. Just be very, very careful. I said I would go relatively tight stop on Intel. There are times when I could be short 1990, and it's like, yeah, let's give it all the way to 20. The gut's telling me this is not one of those cases. Based on the way that it got here and now holding that, I'd rather just take the 3-cent hit. It's Friday. It's the afternoon. Don't necessarily want to get too wrapped up in something crazy like let this thing go ham out of nowhere. For all I know, it's going to do one of those random moves where it just kept running and running and running all afternoon. Like it did. It looked like it made a top here. Everything was calming down, or it made a top here. And then when you broke, it's like late. This thing just went absolutely nuts. So I want to keep it a little bit tight to the vest. Yeah, Robbie V, that Beyond Meat chart is absolutely insane. And there's, like, this is the reason. And I know sometimes when we say I would never chase this at the price it's at, it does continue to go further. I get that. But you have to always weigh that against the other side. And the other side is this. You know, and how many times is this going to happen? Like, how many times do you really need it to double up when you chase the high? Like, if you bought that halt top, I mean, you could just get out with a limit order on the way back through, or maybe you have a VWAP and you're going to risk $1 and you have yourself your own plan. But this is nasty. And there was never any story here. That's the thing that got me. If Beyond Meat's going to go, it should have a reason to go. There wasn't one. It's a bit of a technical break because it was the earnings high. So there's probably people that had no reason to be in this other than short float huge, technical breakout at $6.80. And if you have that trade and there's no specific reason for it, you're probably not expecting it to go to $9 based on the action that you had on earnings. Let's be real. Like that bottom to top is like $1.60. So even if it does another one of those, that's here at $7.80. And once it got into 8, which was resistance on the daily, like it did the entire, like it to this move, to there, and 8's resistance on the daily, that's where I was thinking short. And eventually it did it at $9. So just always be careful with these little pump and dumps, the way they do them. Just wish I had been a little faster on the keys to try to grab that short.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely have to act pretty quick on those ones. And yeah, just random moves that are pretty much outlier. They just, I guess, doing a little bit of balancing back to reversion to the mean.
Yeah.
As it said on Beyond Meat. And yeah, I asked you guys in the chat, what are you guys trading? What's going on? I'm not really seeing too much here. I am in this Uber trade, a little bit of a reversion down into VWAP potentially, but again, it could not work. There's a lot of chop in and around some of these areas. I'm looking at, here, let me pull up the chart when I'm talking about it, Uber right here. So 30-minute, hourly, that's what I'm looking at as well, 15-minute, but yeah, take a look at this right here. So prior, some of this prior earlier day structure here, we bounced up into the 68 halves. We're holding there right now after breaking this attempt. Take a look at this buying that happened off of, again, a reversion of a reversion of a reversion, Neil. So it's like that happened, that trend happens, and then hold on, let me draw that properly. This trend happens, we break that, we start getting weaker, and then now we can draw this one here, coming back to the downside, even steeper, kind of mirroring that action there. So this is what I mean when I say, you know, reversionception perhaps happening, but that happens a lot on a choppy day.
That's a lot of reversion.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of up and down. So it's, you know, it's a little choppy there. But let's see how far we can get. I'm looking at the hourly candle as well. Prior bar has not really broken for the past 3 hours, and we're coming into that level, and it's confluencing with a little bit of VWAP. And not only that, take a look at this. Earnings day 2 high in and around that area as well. So this is, I'm really curious what we do in around this area. But again, nothing too crazy. Rohit Sharma saying, quick scalps from SPY. Ben A saying, short crowd. Yes, I am bearish on Uber, Adara. That's correct. Let's see what else people are trading here. GME, no. ARM?
Wow,
all right, let's take a look at the
GameStop really fast.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. If it was,
no, it was the right
anything
decision.
was happening,
It was the right decision.
I would probably have some alerts on that. Just chopping sideways, right, on GME. But let's take a look at crowd. I am kind of interested in that one to see how we end off the week here. We've been selling off a little bit all day there. So I did have an alert up here at, what is that, 247.90s-ish. Why do I have that alert in? If I remember correctly, I think I just wanted to know if we're going to break back towards into this kind of consolidation from when we've been selling off here. So this bit of sideways consolidation. But yeah, we've been selling off at the end of the week here. Again, we know the story, what's been happening on crowd, but they kind of had a little bit of a situational change there off of, again, Monday buying pressure as well. And I think that the whole Delta being like, the whole thing with Delta, I think there is something along the lines of they were like, oh, we did inform Delta and they didn't want any help or something like that. So
and they called their systems like antiquated, and so a lot of it's their own fault. Well, I mean, this is just what they're saying. So we're not here to adjudicate it. It's just
potential change. I don't know.
That's what they're saying.
I don't know. They've cut a bit, is what I'm saying. They broke trend. Okay, I can speak for the price action that I'm seeing on the chart. It's broken the trend, and we've started to catch a bid. So, as a day trader, that's what I can vouch for the charts and the price action and what I'm seeing in front of me. Sometimes I have trouble listening, but again, when I do, I guess it's a little bit better. But take a look at that trend break and a bid back up. 250 holding underneath on CrowdStrike. And SPY was the other one that was mentioned right here. So Spider, yeah, I got eyes on the Spider, but SPY is a little bit sideways chop for me on the day. We did kind of break this weekly high. We already broke it in the pre-market. We attempt to break pre-market highs as well. We can't really get that far. This is an hourly chart. Let's go down a little bit there. But yeah, this little push up, you can see we did break pre-market highs, weekly highs on the SPY, and let's see how we're poised to kind of close on the week here, Neil. Oh boy, that was some panic. That was a gap fill.
Boy.
That's, wow, okay. I'm curious to know what next week has in store. Maybe we continue, maybe we pull back in, who knows? But this market is, or has been, definitely spicy, and I like that. Where the party's at, right?
You know that song?
Which song?
Where the party at?
Where the party at? Yeah. I forget who's where the party at? Something.
I'm gonna let you try to figure it out before I let you know. Come on, it's way before your time. There was a few questions in here I see in the chat. What is NVIDIA doing, or what do you think of NVIDIA? I actually am. What I didn't do on Tesla at the bottom, I'm kind of thinking here on NVIDIA, which would be local trend down, which the NASDAQ's trying to break a local trend, and I see NVIDIA trying to break this local trend. There was already one test. There might have been a bit of a trap in here at the quarter level. Now it's trying to hold a VWAP. If it can break that trend to the upside, that's looking pretty spicy. And then remember Upstart? Well, if you've been trading this week, you probably know that Upstart's had some movement, so a couple of up days in a row. I guess I can go further back. There you go. Upstart's not been too bad. We talked about this in our little rundown. So right now, it's holding this high from 2 days ago directly at VWAP into either a potential bounce and a break of the trend line, which I want long. If it breaks the trend line up, I want long. If it breaks down under 36, I feel like this sucker is going to drop. So right now, it's NVIDIA and Upstart for me, and looking at both of these two trend lines, don't really have any short ideas as we're trying to break trend back into the upside. So I want to lean toward if we bounce first, just play off of the bounce. And I don't know if I don't like Intel for a short. I'm looking for something that I actually like short for a continuation here. But I feel as if we break the trend back to the upside, that's going to surprise a few people here today. And I'd like to take a shot at that. Roaring in the 20s knows what I'm talking about. Be Free knows what I'm talking about. Where the Bacardi at? Bottles and bottles talking all of that. You know I can't forget about my love. Yeah. And where my girls? Up in the club?
No, I can't recall. But
if
no,
the party's where you're at, then let me know. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It's different times.
Yeah.
It's different times.
No, I do. If I hear the song, I would probably be remembering it a little bit better. But
I know you would.
Yeah, no, I'm just not too good remembering what the names of songs are, or the names of anything really, except for maybe tickers. I'll remember a ticker. This morning, Sharif was like, "Oh, I'm putting Confluent on the watch list," and I was like, "TFLT." I was like, I don't think I've ever really traded it. Maybe ever. I don't know what my
That's your ticker.
History is, but yeah, apparently. And I was
your
like, yes. But yeah, no, I'll remember some tickers every now and then. It'll just come to me. But names of things,
as everyone's telling you now in the chat. If you want to read it, they're now
Jagged
telling
Edge?
you. Yeah, Jagged Edge.
Okay.
Yeah. R&B group.
Okay. All right.
I'll
have to check that one out.
No, it's a good joint. I mean, if you're into R&B, like, not that it's not what it used to be, but then that's what old people always say, right? Like, music's never the same, yada, yada, yada. Good music is good music,
Changes
so it's all good.
Yeah.
Roaring in the 20s, dance to the club in that. You know we all did. I see Franz in the chat. Baba, every time someone brings up Baba to me, it's either at $78 or $80 on a dime. I have no idea why this is always true, but a couple of days ago, someone's like, Neil, can you look at Alibaba? And it was trading right at $78. And then I think yesterday, someone's like, Neil, can you look at Alibaba? And it was right at $80. And then just now, can you look at Alibaba? It's at $79.99 as we speak. Key levels, both of those. I mean, you can see it's a bit of a top on the daily. Lower high here on Alibaba, though. Now, remember, Chinese ADRs do less volume in the afternoon, so you can expect barcodes and a move away from here. My expectation, if it moves away from here, you get VWAP, you get the top, and you don't get any more. That's how these usually roll. But that's not bad. We talked about adjusting to the market that you're in. This is a 5-cent range. If it breaks out of that range in either direction, you can get a 20-cent move with a 5-cent stop. That's not bad at all here. So it's worth it if that's what you're looking for. No questions about it. I don't want to give up hope that Upstart can do something extreme. Like if it loses 36 here, I think it could flush. If it breaks a trend back to the upside, I think it could rally into the close. Both those look pretty enticing to me because it's got a wide range off both those levels. Been volatile all week. So I just expect there might be better movement in something like this. And then as I say that, it doesn't go, and NVIDIA wants to try to break out this range. So here goes NVIDIA through the quarters. It was a trap the first time, and this time we'll spring the trap. I'm long at the quarters. The trend line bottom is now at the 105. I'll track this. Maybe throw up Upstart on a different level too, because I don't want to miss out on Upstart. And if you're just following along, we'll show you, like I'll show you, we have the one screen that we're showing you guys. I'm not really trading on the one screen. I got level 2s all over the place. I don't know if we have the shot where you can like see behind here, Fabian. I don't know. Anyways, I have like charts up here, and then I've got more level 2s over there and all that good stuff. Just so that if you see me looking over, I can throw Upstart over there, and then I can have charts of the 4 stocks that I'm usually watching here, and level 2s to be able to do some trade action. Yeah, I mean, there you go. Yeah, you can see both of our layouts like that.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. And then you can see the bald spot on my head. We call it the bald cam. And then, yeah, there you go. That's to give you guys an idea of how it works, and we got the magic 8 ball there. So if you see me looking around, that's all it is. And I always want to make sure if there's a stock I'm watching, I want the chart up so I can follow it. But I'm going to want a level 2 as well. So I can be trading NVIDIA, have orders out, get a stop order in. Something happens over on Palantir or Upstart, I'm right over to that other level 2, and then I can trade appropriately. So you want to make sure that you're set up well. It's all well and good to have a million ideas out there, but if you don't have the process to execute them, then none of that even matters. So we're locked and loaded on NVIDIA. If we get a chance to dip off of this and it bounces, I might like it more and then add into it. But the market's trying to catch a bid, looking for NVIDIA to catch 1-2 off this little trend break.
Yes, Neil. I 100% know that song. Let me tell you that. I threw it on for a little bit and I was like, yes, definitely. I remember this.
I know
sure.
you
It's
do.
a banger. It's a banger
know
for
you
sure.
do.
For sure.
That was a real club joint.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. 3020s. I'm still looking for the next trade, man. I'm looking at AMDs along. Some people in the chat talking about TTD Trade Desk is the best chart.
Is it?
Soup was saying in the chat, and I was like, okay, all right. They had earnings today, and take a look at that. Holding consolidation off of the open, holding that action in the upper quartile, trending up again into the last couple hours of the trading day. 15 more minutes, 16 minutes.
This was
until power hour, and Trade Desk is trading up to the upside? Yeah, to the upside there. Let's take a look at a higher time frame and take a look at some of these some prior levels. We're just underneath 100. Okay, interesting. Some prior highs right here, 102.58. A little bit of horizontal resistance where we started selling off of just earlier on a couple of weeks ago, end of July here. So end of July, we made those highs and then started selling off into earnings, and then earnings, and we're kind of recovering back into some of that range here. Let's take a higher time frame look and see what Trade Desk has been up to. Okay, all right, so that's not too bad. It's been uptrending quite nicely. Take a look at this week, though, Neil. A lot of weekly charts looking like this across the board. Extremely green. Opening at a flat bottom open on the candle and pushing up near the highs of the candle. Pretty much a lot of them closing near highs of that candle, and aggressive engulfing happening as well from the other side on a lot of these charts. Again, take a look at, well, not really engulfing here on the spider, but let's take a look at NVIDIA. I do want to see some of these larger constituents and see how they're closing. See if there's anything distinctly different. Softy, Amazon. We can look at Tesla as well. Tesla might have a little bit of, they still got some space there to go for a potential fill there. It did gap down quite extensively there. What else am I missing? Google right here. And another one, Berkshire. You know, Berkshire has been having quite the recovery as well. Take a look.
Straight cash, homie.
Yo. See, look at that. See, so it's like, this is what it looks like on the weekly, but take a look at the daily as well. I was looking at this a couple nights ago, aggressive bidding up from Monday. We pretty much filled the gap from Friday, and we were pretty much coming into Friday's high here on Berkshire. So pretty crazy move there. 400, couldn't really get back through that 400. Again, lots of consolidation. We consolidated sideways on this thing for over a few months, and take a look at that. I even have that charted, bit of a trend line break, and look at that acceleration that happens off the trend line break, and we come right back into the trend. Strong bounce, closing above that, off of that gap down we had on Monday.
So of course you're long it.
I mean, I don't know, but that reclaim, that close, wick bottom, whatever you want to call it, interesting
that's
stuff happened at the beginning of the week. It is Berkshire, right?
All you need is
they sold 50%, almost 50% of their Apple. Right? And we're like, what's it selling on Apple?
And
maybe,
they're huge in treasuries right now. It's just, I mean, they got treasuries coming out their ears. But I want to go right up here and say, hey, Davis, he's laughing at us because he's like, I have 7 large screens and I want 2 more soon. Okay, so hey, I believe you. Don't get me wrong. I 100% believe you. But feel free. Send me. I would love to see some screenshots if you guys don't mind. If you want to, just send us in like what your trading setup looks like, and then just you can send it to me on my Twitter. It's just you can find me at TraderTV Neil. So it's pretty simple. But I'd love to be able to see what other people's setups are. And what I was saying in the chat to a couple of people, they're like, "Oh, you need more screens." Based on, we've actually talked about this, like where Sean and I could get an extra screen. There's like a program monitor so I can see, like I'm looking at our program monitor there so I know what's on camera. And then there's cameras out the you know what, and there's one here, so it's like an empty gap that just has to be there, which is a bit tricky. So it's difficult for us to add more. And not that you absolutely have to, but I find doing the show, like when I wasn't doing the show, you almost needed a little bit more. And now all of a sudden, we're kind of restricted in terms of needing to add. That said, you can always make do at the end of the day. There's been a lot of questions about SMCI. Like, Fabian loves playing with the camera because what'll happen is he'll move the camera, and then I'm seeing the camera move. Like, should I be moving with the camera?
Yeah.
As he's just pure messing with us here. Yeah, like you'll see how he does
there,
that.
Boom. Oh,
Trust me when I tell you, like it messes you up because any normal human being, when I'm looking at a camera and the camera moves, I'm just gonna start doing all this kind of nonsense around with it. So back to trading, I was going to talk about SMCI, but then this trend looks like it wants to give up. So if I'm using this as my guide, then I'm getting out if it doesn't hold. Like I wanted this to close above the next candle. It doesn't. It retests the low. The key thing would be close above. I can get back into it, but I want to get in. I want the next bar to close above, and when it does, I want to try to add to the position. Otherwise, this might not be the right time to get into it. But there was an SMCI, a few SMCI questions. It's not doing a heck. I mean, nothing's really doing a lot right now. So I keep looking around for something like trend breaks. I like them because I can take a shot off a trend line for small relative risk, and then if it breaks away from it, you get a good return going into power hour. But if I'm not seeing anything like that, I don't see a lot of trades. SMCI has done the double bottom after earnings low. What it hasn't done yet is taking out any prior resistance. It didn't take out this resistance, let alone the earnings resistance. So there's a heck of a lot to still go for SMCI. It's held on to $500, which is certainly a good thing. And like I don't own this one in my long-term account, just get that one out of the way. Oh yeah, I just went to type it in my trade ideas to pull up the weekly chart, and why isn't it pulling up? Because I didn't type SMCI. I'm always typing the wrong symbol. It's so weird. It's weird. I typed MSCI. You know, like the indice?
MSCI or MSCI?
Oh, MSCI.
Oh,
yeah. Like the indice I typed instead of SMCI. But on a weekly chart, it does still look pretty bearish. It's into and bouncing off of like what is a pretty key level on the daily, but on the weekly, it's still looking pretty darn bearish. It needs to hold some kind of a bottom and start breaking levels out to the top, which can happen. I mean, it absolutely can happen. It just needs to go, and we're running out of time here in the day for this to make any kind of a power move. So NVIDIA just broke that support level. Upstart ends up bouncing a little bit here, has yet to break this channel to the upside, but I'm going to try the same thing. If you break the down channel on Upstart, close out above, I just want to see if it can revert, and then it has explosive upside because we've already seen it. Let's go to the desk with Adara.
This part of the show is brought to you by Benzinga Pro. If you feel lost in the noise of the market, then you need Benzinga Pro. Benzinga Pro cuts through the clutter and gives you the insights you need to make smarter, faster trades. From real-time news to unusual options activity, we'll show you exactly what's moving the market and why. Don't miss out on your chance to trade like a pro. Visit benzinga.com/pro to start your free trial today.
Like I got the break, and then I don't know.
Always talking through Uber right now.
Yeah.
I was curious because
like I took the consolidation break from here earlier, but it's kind of consolidating on top of VWAP now, and the market's pulling back as well. So maybe we have a little bit of confluence with that. But again, nothing too crazy. Like I'm not giving this too far. I'm not expecting too much out of it. I'm actually looking through some of these scans now. Like, okay, so what are some of the volume leaders on the day? Maybe we can find some opportunities going into the last hour. Is there any sort of like price action setting up? Right. So that's the question I'm asking. That I saw some of that on Uber, and I took a little bit of a shot, and like I did not risk. I feel like I didn't risk enough on it, but it is what it is. I wasn't expecting it to do much. With the market kind of, I'm not really seeing anything like playbook setup as of right now. But okay, Lumen coming back in, a little bit of sideways not consolidation break, trend break happening, but it's going sideways, right? But yeah, Lumen. Have you guys been trading Lumen? Let us know in the chat. Freddie, the friendly guy, I'll take a look at that in 1 second. He wants us to look at the defense ETF, DFEN. It's not super volatile, but it's moving. Thoughts and question above VWAP question mark. All right, so let's quickly go through some of these top 5, top 10 volume leaders on the day, and then we'll take a look at DEFN. All right, Lumen, I know that's been very popular. Lyft, Neil, Lyft. Didn't this have earnings just recently? Okay,
yes,
all right, interesting. So earnings day 3, and catching a little bit of a sell. Number 3 on the volume leaders list. here today. So hello, a little bit of a trending ticker. PLTR, we know about this one, definitely. It's been doing some significant volume, almost 74 million on the day on PLTR. Intel, we know what Intel has been up to as well. A little bit of sell-off off the 20 mark, off of the open there. Tesla, we know that Tesla, I think Neil was involved in a little bit of Tesla earlier on today. Ford, I think they had a couple of moves a few days ago, but nothing too crazy other than just chopping around sideways, just doing some volume on the day. Shop and Upstart are the next ones. Again, we know Shopify had earnings a couple of days ago. Today is day 3. We've just been shopping around 69 highs, shopping around in this range here right now on Shopify and Upstart. Again, strong push, strong trend. And Neil and I were talking about this when we were like, oh boy, reversion to VWAP, that is quite a trend there, and it's doing it on not much relative volume, but the volume is expanding into 38, which may or may not be a key, a certain support or resistance level if you look back at the chart. And we did get that reversion to VWAP, and now we've just been consolidating in and around VWAP. So let's
what I like
at DEFN real quick.
Yeah.
Before I pass it up to you.
I think that
Metals Corp.
No, there's. I was about to tell you. There's Defense Metals is on, like, it's on Toronto, I think. So I don't know.
No, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, let us know which ETF exactly meant. There's DEF. No, it's DFEN. DFEN is like a 3x bull arrows, I think. Aero and defense. DFEN.
Oh yeah, that's the one. That's the.
I think that's the one. DFEN. I think that's maybe what you're looking for.
This is not liquid at all. It's done 101K volume on the day here. But yeah, this is a 3x aerospace and defense bull ETF, I guess.
There's got to be another that's not leveraged.
Nothing crazy.
We don't know these all off by heart. I don't know every ETF
For day
off by
trading,
heart.
we need some volume.
No, you want there to be volume and liquidity.
liquid.
I know there's got to be an aerospace defense. I just don't know off the top of my head. The one that's not leveraged is probably a little bit more tradable. But I was just looking at Beyond Meat here because I'm thinking if it's giving it up and has no reason to go up, I want to maybe look for some areas to short pops on Beyond Meat. But then I just saw Daryl in the chat. Oh, sorry, no, it was John. John Del Segno, DraftKings coming down pretty hard. I just want to see something that's moving. You know, Upstart doesn't seem to want to break that trend back to the upside. I'd love for that one to go. But if Donkey Kong's doing something, then that gets pretty interesting as well. Like I just threw up BYND to maybe grab it on some pop, but DraftKings is breaking down. There you go. That's volume, biggest volume candle since the morning, and it's losing support. That's interesting. See, and then you pull up the higher time frame. You still have a flat bottom break at $30 in play. So the short into 30 looks good. Any pop into the quarters, short into 30 looks pretty good on DraftKings. That's moving. I'm still tracking both Beyond Meat if it can maybe get VWAP or curl a lower high. I'm looking up at Upstart trying to break trend. But DraftKings, it's got that 30 potential break. It might bounce off there. But triple bottom of sorts from 35, then a lower high break at 30. I mean, if it can just do any kind of a consolidation or pop before it gets to 30 even, that could be interesting. I don't see any reason or news why it happens to be down right now. Down 1.25% into an up market, it's relatively weak. That's essentially what you're looking for. Like, why do I want to break out potential trend break in Upstart? Because it's up 6.5%. It's been running all week long, and it's got a short float, a bit of a short float. But I like it. If you're breaking down, short weak stocks. That's the easiest way to go. Huge is tanking, apparently.
Is it a huge tank?
Yeah. That was fun for a minute. That was fun.
I mean, it made a move.
No, fun. Yeah. Huge was fun for, like, just come to the chart. Like, it was pretty good. Like, I had some longs in here, finally caught off 24, then broke it out at 30, and then it kind of stalled at 36. I thought you'd see 40 there, and then I tried the reload, kind of stopped out, and I should have played it right back into 35, and then it was a double top, and now it's probably done. They just might be done back into 15 the way it's going, and I actually don't even know if we have locates on this. Like, can I even short this? No, we have to pay for locates, and I don't know if I want to price them out. I think DraftKings looks interesting enough to me, and then so DraftKings, DKNG, and then Upstart still not breaking out. I know you've got your Uber taking that ride, so here's a bounce in DraftKings.
Yeah.
I'd expect it off 30. Let's see if it can make any higher low or lower high, sorry. Or even a consolidation would be good enough, just as long as it's not at 30. yet. So we're going to hang out here on DraftKings. Raul, I saw that story about there was a plane crash in Brazil. I don't recall anything on the newswire, or at least when I was hearing it or looking at it, with reference to it being a Boeing plane. I don't even know how big it was. I know there was loss of life, but I would wager that if it had anything to do with Boeing, Boeing's chart would not look like this. If a Boeing plane went down and there was loss of life again, Boeing's down significantly. You'd be able to tell by the chart. And sometimes that's the easiest way to go about it. No way Boeing, it could have anything to do with Boeing, and Boeing would look this calm. No chance about it. So it's a tragic story. I did see it on Benzinga, and I heard it in my ear when it happened. But Tony M, small passenger plane, wasn't a big plane. Again, the price doesn't lie. You know, every now and then it might mislead you as a trader, but it's not going to lie. It's going to go where it wants to go. And Boeing would be down like 5-10%. I mean, Boeing on mild bad news is going to drop. So if it goes really bad like that, they'd be in a lot of trouble. All right, DraftKings can't seem to go any higher. Again, just wanted to make sure I actually had locates on this thing. I know we usually do, but can't even bounce 5 pennies at this point on DraftKings when I'm thinking I want the quarters.
Yes, sir. I'm watching this Uber kind of chopping around here, moving a little bit more aggressively. It did kind of hold that VWAP as of right now, hold above VWAP. I have VWAP 68.32 on one chart, and then 68 a little bit higher in the 30s here, 68.37s, 36s here on the P Pro. So it's just a few pennies discrepancy, but in that area, right? It's been holding 68.40s as of right now, and we've gotten a bid back above. But yeah, nothing too crazy. Market's going sideways as well. Take a look at this chop that's happening for the past 3 15-minute candles. We've just been kind of tight in and around this 18.6 on the NASDAQ, and then 53.65 here on the ES as well. Yeah, the spider is kind of pulling back in, or it's been attempting to pull back into VWAP as well. So not really expecting too much. PLTR though, Neil, a little bit of a shelf action happening on these 30-10s. We saw what happened at the 30 on that initial push. I honestly, with that kind of size that was sitting there, I was looking for it to print past the quarters, like almost within the next 2 minutes, right? And I was like, well, if it's not going to do that right off the break, then I don't necessarily, like, that's not the trade I was, I guess, expecting. But you're definitely right. It was something that we definitely have to stay involved in when it reclaims that 30. On the initial pullback of that 30, it actually reserves 30, doesn't even break back below, and then pops right back up. Some crazy action there. Again, we talk about how when you look back at the chart, how that 30 may or may not be a little important. We're pulling back into it, breaking that 10 as of right now. The low there being 30.04s. But again, we've been trending up pretty much for a majority of session here. Bid kind of coming in after 11:45, after breaking that opening range high. We talk about that range, 29.70s to 29.30s, that it was just chopping around. And when we finally broke, we slowly and steadily kind of pulled up into that 30, that size over 10,000 lots.
It was, I mean, that level was a million shares display.
It snapped up in one, like, I looked at the prints,
reserve.
And then in reserve, so there was more. There was more to be, sold at that price, I guess.
So just a couple of things. I mean, Beyond Meat's trying to curl here. It's not quite at VWAP, but it's been putting in lower highs. I'm just looking for the first available curl. I'm on the offer of DraftKings. Haven't really gotten it yet. Still the same thing over there in Upstart. But to Obi's point, when we got to that level, the displayed shares was 1 million. The second it was on the offer for more than even like a glance at it, it got taken out. Like somebody swiped the level. By my estimation, the volume was about 42.5 million shares at the time that it swiped. And then when it rejected, we were at about 45 million shares or so, and we were back down at like 97. So it was displayed 1 million on Palantir at 30, and then it was at least 1 million, maybe 1.5 million reserved. And then there was like a scalp down. And we felt that that's how it was going to be. It was going to be a dirty trade at 30 because if everybody's watching the same level and anticipating the same break, what are the chances it's going to be the first time clean the first time it sees it? It had to really chew through a lot of inventory on Palantir to get there. So the only new thing is right here for me on Beyond Meat. Still nothing doing on Upstart. Not much happening on DraftKings. Not catching any fills there. Tisha, What up? MGOL is curling, and Harmon wants to know what are your thoughts on he as earnings after the close. Let's start with MGO. MGOL is like a halt fest type of stock. I mean, I guess relatively speaking, it's only halted a couple times today, but I'm always wary of the one that's given the whole move back. Like, it makes a halt high. Like, didn't we just see this with Beyond Meat? Makes a halt high, gives it right back into VWAP. At least it's bouncing off VWAP, but if it fails that lower high, not the best look. The good news would be still in a pretty decent upward channel. So despite all of these horrible rejections that it has, like, it rejects the high and it's done for the day until it makes a higher low. Rejects the high, done for the day till it makes a higher low. Rejects the high, done for the day. See what I'm getting at here? I'm not betting on something changing pattern when it's just a parabolic mover. The longs on this have been early, and then consolidation dip buys. So unless you already have it here at 550, I'm not telling anybody to chase it because who knows how big the move is going to be. But the pattern would suggest that you get a shallow bounce just because it already did it twice. And then maybe on Monday it's got something for you breaking through $7. Maybe. But even, look at this, like the last time it dipped in then went, the actual break of the previous high wasn't even any good. So this is a tricky one. Like, this feels like one that you want to be getting on the consolidations, not getting trapped on any big candle wick breakout. So you already have a consolidation, which gave you a setup here in Mogul. And then after that, to me, you've missed the move here. And I don't like chasing moves that I have obviously missed. HE, I don't know why I'm pulling it up as if we're going to trade it. Let's just go. There's not, obviously on a Friday, you're not going to get a lot when it comes to earnings. Just understand that with Hawaiian Electric, they're a highly short-floated name, and most of you probably only know Hawaiian Electric because of the fires and the culpability that they had, and yada, yada, yada. This is what happened to them. They have yet to even fill in the bigger portion of that gap, but there's a decent consolidation here. If they had good things to say, there's a chance at a squeeze on this name, but I haven't been following where the litigation is or anything like that on Hawaiian Electric. And if you don't know, then why would you be, when there's so much fundamentally at stake, why would you be guessing based on price action? I just know it's got a big short float, and it's the kind of thing that if it ever did try to break out here, it's got a big gap to be filled. But you got to really know the nuts and bolts of what's going on in the aftermath, which I don't at all. And sometimes that's the leader. If there's one story, like it could be like a lawsuit that's a big deal. Like if you're in J&J, like you want to know what's going on. Like what's up with that lawsuit? Beyond Meat maybe pushing back down here. Want to get an order out in the 70s, see if we can pick something up. Not a lot of action. We're chopping around in the futures here, Obi. So you got to find something. The reason I'm looking at Upstart and like DraftKings broke a low or Beyond Meat on the back way in here is at least these things have been moving. So I'd rather bet on looking at things that moved extreme earlier for something in the afternoon as opposed to like Nvidia's not doing much. Looking up at Apple, Apple's not doing a heck of a lot. Tesla doesn't seem like it's giving us much of anything. So why not scalp trade Beyond Meat, which was going ham earlier?
Yeah, no, I keep looking for things here, and I'm watching this Uber just like consolidate, chop within a 10, 15 penny range here, above VWAP. PLTR, the only real one that kind of, one of the ones that had a strong move there with some significant price action, and I'm looking for that as well. But like I don't like we've seen how the chart has built up on this, and I don't necessarily want to go for a reversion right there. 30 definitely interesting, and we're still trading above that. Every dip since we did break above 30 has been bought up, and we've been making incrementally higher highs and higher lows on this ticker. So this thing is still going, poised for, so we are in power hour now, and this thing is still trading near high a day there. So that's something to be said about Palantir and the strength that it has on the day. Again, doing over, 75 million shares now traded on Palantir.
Is that all?
So absolutely crazy. Yeah.
Should have worn that. Should have had the hat up here all week long.
Yeah.
On Palantir. You know what's crazy? What? I know the hat. See, this is the thing. It's not on my side. It's on. Well, we're not trading it anymore.
Okay, all right.
If you watch the morning show, there wasn't a single point in the morning show, and maybe it's not true literally, but it certainly felt like it if you're if you were involved in it or watching it, I would assume. I don't think there was a moment that somebody wasn't long Palantir from the get-go. Like, I know I had it early and was just in and out and in and out. And even when I got out, I was pretty much jumping right back into it, which isn't normal. Like, maybe on a day when Sean's trading it actively, that's the way it'll be. But it was a heavy morning of trading for us not to have worn the hat. A lot of flat stocks right now, Tony Price, you're absolutely right. And I got to tell you, I know it's always exciting and you want to be like, oh, let's get into this, let's get into that. If you just force trades on a Friday afternoon when nothing's happening, all you're going to do is bleed loss from the top. There's a term that we have here at Real Trading called LFT, loss from top. Now, every trader has a loss limit on the day, and there's two ways you can get shut down. You can hit your daily loss limit, and then 60% over your loss limit. So if you have a $1,000 stop loss on the day, your LFT is 1,600. So that just means from whatever your highest point is, if you draw down 1,600, even if you're not negative 1,000 that trader, you're shut down. So if a trader with a stop loss of 1,000 is up $2,000 and they pull back underneath 400, they're shut down for the day. And it's one of those things to help you protect your gains. Now, it is a prop floor. You're trading someone else's money to earn a commission, so you have to abide by those types of rules, and it is going to be different because you're accountable to that. So if I say I don't want to have a bunch of LFT at the end of the day, it's because it's like ingrained in you. But then more importantly, if there's nothing moving, there's nothing worse than throwing a bunch of trades around when you just don't see any good setups. Like you can have a good week going, like you make money every single day, and then you try to like put the cherry on the top and force a bunch of trade action, and then you just LFT it. I once saw a guy, this is a true story, which I've probably told before, who just wanted to get to we used to call it a G node, right? So it's like a trader wanted to get to a G on the day. And he was at, I think it was $992 and change. So his thought was, all I have to do is take 1,000 shares for 1 cent and make $10, and he would make the G node. He got shut down. And this was at 319 on the day. And I was sitting a row behind the guy.
Yeah.
He got shut down on the day LFT because he tried to make that 1 cent and then he lost 4 and then he was like 950. And then he lost the next trade. Then he was like at 8 something. And then he upped his shares. And the next thing you know, the guy's banging the table and pissed off. And the risk manager's like, what the hell is wrong with you? I don't name names or anything like that. But believe me, I don't think that trader made that mistake again. That's all I'm going to say. It's a really important thing that you don't just trade for the sake of trading. Like, if you see something, if you guys see something, let me know. Like, only now I'm looking over. I keep looking over like this. It's because now Upstart, which is not on Blue Ocean, it's only now breaking this little channel. And I thought I was a little bit impatient with the trend break on NVIDIA, but you've now closed above here on Upstart. And I'm maybe even too patient with this one because it's starting to trend back above, but it's not very explosive here. Fabian, can we come to my chart for a second? Sorry. I know I was doing like the rant thing where you just want to keep it on my face. Fine. But yeah, it's breaking out, and now you've broken the trend, a couple of closes above. Let's see if I can't get it somewhere in here. But it's not even going. This is the problem. You have this deep downtrend and a stock up 7%. It breaks it, and it's just very slowly grinding. So the only way to play that is size small and give it the room and then just hang on. Don't expect it to go nuts here. Like, I was expecting to see some volume spike in there, but there just wasn't. I guess if you took it right away, you'd be long at 57, and it's now at 80. But I'm looking at the level too. There's nothing going on here. There's no size except the offer. The best bids are at 63 right now. Nobody's bidding more than a few hundred shares until you get down to 63, which is really tricky because it could like one sell order and we're right back at 63. That's what we're looking at this afternoon. It's not an easy way to get in.
Yeah, no, sideways chop indeed, but something that is pushing high of day right now, Neil. Guess who? It's
Palantir.
Google.
Oh, never mind.
Google is 162.24, so we're seeing a little bit of a bid up on the markets as well. So I was like, who's moving? Most things were sideways, but no, Google has been moving there, pushing some highs there. Again, we were talking about this a little earlier. I was like, okay, a little bit of interesting selling in the morning. We seem to be reverting most of it as of right now, going into the close here. So let's take a quick look at Google here. I see that super chat as well. We're just going to get to that real quick after I speak on this Google here. But yeah, take a look at that. Strong selling breaks through prior day's lows in the pre-market, consolidates near some of these, just within the consolidation. This is just chop, 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 chop. Finds a little bit of a higher support. And now we've broken high a day, opening range high on the 15-minute, and we've been slowly just trending up, kind of reverting this selling that we had in the pre-market right there. Prior day's close, what is that real quick? I just want to know. Last 15-minute candle close, 162.04. We're trading above that as of right now. So we just got above prior day's close, Neil, on Google. And a little bit of a curl. Apple bouncing off of VWAP as well. Spider bouncing off of VWAP. NVIDIA sideways, doing its own thing. That's fine. NVIDIA will do what NVIDIA does. Softy also, interesting hold of 406 on Softy. It was the consolidation high in the morning. Let me just take a look at that right there as well. Look, consolidation highs in the morning, and look at that clean 15-minute wicks flat bottoming here right on that 406. We're trading 406.84s. All right, so Minkcat3 with the super chat, please analysis on AAP Therapeutics. So yeah, let's take a quick look at that one. I don't know about analysis.
Dude, about that.
But about that, yeah, no, it's okay. Well, I mean, it does. It's done 1.2 million shares on the day. That's not too bad, I guess. Like 1.2 million. That's $1.2 million worth of dollar volume that's gone through this thing.
You can be like,
yeah, I don't know.
There's not much to say about this.
I'm not the right person for. I don't do the analysis.
No, we respect the super chats. We appreciate everybody in the community, and shout out to you. Thank you.
Bleak.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Ultimately, from a trading perspective, like I used to trade penny stocks. I still do from time to time, and I love when things are active around $1 for psychological reasons, because it goes, you get a delisting notice, you come right back, and sometimes you'll have. I mean, the old story would be that you'd have interested parties that would try to get it back over $1, and when you got close late in the week, or if they were in the last week before they have the deadline to get back above $1, and if you see the buying above the 80 level, you just go in and join it, and that was an easy way to make money back in the day. But when I see a stock at that dollar level doing absolutely nothing, the easy answer is there's nothing here. And if it breaks this range on a catalyst, great. It's got a consolidation it's breaking from, but as a trade, there's not much to see. I don't know anything about the company, so we can only look at price action, and there really isn't much of any in that ADAP. We appreciate it, and don't get me wrong. As far as I'm concerned, anything is a possible trade. I don't care if it's a $1,000 stock or a 5-cent stock. If it does volume, if it has liquidity, then there is, especially here at Real Trading, it could be in Brazil for what, I don't care what market it is. We trade almost every single market, or can trade almost every single market. So there's no such thing as a bad one, but that's one that necessarily we wouldn't trade. But yeah, like I've done it before, and all you need is a catalyst. Like anything can happen with those. And I'm now looking here at Beyond Meat, bit of a buyer at the 650 level. So creatively enough, $7 is short. First out's in front of, at the 75 level, just under, and 650 seems to be holding. So I think getting out, this is where things started from. Expecting more than that seems a little bit greedy, and I think I just got greedy. If I get to 50s, I'm going to get back out, and I'm into Upstart. So Upstart, like I said, there was nobody actually bidding until it got to about 63 when it was up at 80. So I just sat on the bid and joined, and it popped right down into 63, and it's holding pretty much that level as we speak. If it breaks the trend, I get out. Let's go to Adara.
We just had a bit of a volume uptick here, relatively speaking, for Klaviyo, KVYO. This was that IPO from last September. Up near highs of day. This is day 2 for earnings. They did beat across the board for EPS and for sales. Higher than expected guidance. Just be aware here. KVYO on watch. Near highs of days as we end the week, getting a little bit of an uptick in post-earnings volume, guys.
Klaviyo, another earnings one. That's one. We didn't even talk about Klaviyo when they had a big move. We didn't talk about Sweetgreen. Sweetgreen was up double digits as well. That was a pretty good one on earnings. And you know what? Speaking of earnings, believe it or not, it's going to be, this is the first day that Stonks is doing something a little bit different, which is pretty cool. So Stonks, if you've been following along, Stonks has this whole, I'm going to make my prediction here, but you're going to notice, scan the QR code, check out stonks.com, and all week long, there's been a $1,000 prize pool. You sign up an account, and you guess what a particular name is going to be at 4:30 or 5 o'clock. Well, there's no big earnings today, so today it's predict Ethereum's price, and you have 41 minutes left to go. They're about to come online here, it looks like, as well. So all you got to do is pick the price. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to guess with my free, like I've already signed up. I think I'm up to like $9.50. I think that's what it says up there. Because I won a little bit each day. The best win was, I think, on Meta. I won like $6 with the free entries. But I'm kind of liking, if we're at 26.69 right now, let's not do anything crazy. Let's just go with 26.69.42. I want to keep it in the pocket. It's too easy. Like, that's essentially where I've been at every single week, some version of those numbers. So I'm going to keep it relatively simple with my prediction. I think I get another. Oh, I already made one. That's my second prediction. So check out stonks.com. It's entirely free. You sign up for it, and you can win a part of the prize pool. $1,000 prize pool, $25, $250 to the person that's the closest, and then $150 for second place, and then a running scale down. All you got to do is sign up. And you can refer to get more guesses as well. So it's just a little bit of fun. I always want to make sure that our viewers know. And then if you win, let us know. If you get it dead on, great. And if you see my price that I did live for you and then you shave my price by a few cents, then you know what you've done. And that's not a nice thing, everybody. Just checking out what Ether's at right here. I mean, I'm kind of anticipating, I suppose, no move, right? What's the easiest proposition? That it doesn't do anything? That's what I'm hoping for, not any crazy action. We actually can trade this here at Real Trading, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, but we have it.
We got it now.
Yeah, we've had, so right now we've got Bitcoin, we've got ETH, we've got Doge, and I'm missing one. Solana.
Got Doge?
There might be a fifth. It's those four for sure. And maybe we have a fifth one. I'd have to double check. We've got those four online right now that you can trade. I just know one of our good friends who owns the other office. You guys talk to him all the time. They just got it up as well. We were the first office to get it because we're the head office floor. And the very first trader at Real Trading to place a live trade on Bitcoin was me. Okay. The very first trader to test the futures, and this was like 15 years ago, was myself. It was myself and another guy. And when you're at head office, you get to do some beta testing when things come in. So I used to get I've had the pleasure of being the first guinea pig on several things. I even traded, like, the only time I traded Forex is when they wanted to beta test that too, because I'm not a Forex trader. And I just kind of messed around because they wanted you to test it. So that was pretty cool. But what's not cool.
Exciting.
Okay, well, Beyond Meat's cool, but Upstart ain't cool. That buyer just evaporated in front of me. And remember I said there weren't any buyers, a very thin book here on Upstart. There weren't any buyers until like 60. Well, all the bids just pulled, and so I just punched out under the 50 level. Look, it's just nothing there, and it's dropping like a rock.
Get the market.
So, like, remember there wasn't a lot of bids. Now we're dropping like a rock, so Beyond Meat's going to be fine. Palantir's falling here as well. Obi, right through the 30 level. Yep. I think we're going to see VWAP here. Thank you for the super chat, Rohit.
Oh, boy, look at that.
But, oh, boy, we're headed to the downside.
Coming right in.
I wish I'd found more things to short.
Yeah.
Can't lie.
I don't know. I don't think I'm shorting the best thing right now, but, again, still, what is it? How much time is left on this 15-minute candle to print? 7 minutes still, and we're still within this chop range that we've been doing both on the ES and the NQ. ES a little bit different. The wicks are a little higher highs and higher lows as well on every consecutive 15-minute candle for the past four 15-minute candles, again with 7 minutes left for this one to print here. Yeah, Palantir finally coming right back in. But again, take a look at this. VWAP was where the bidding kind of really started. We broke out. We hovered above it. So VWAP buyers, are you still there? Well, if we get down there, we may or may not find out. And we shall see if Palantir is poised for a close above or below VWAP there. Are we going to get a bit of reversion? You come down to 29.70s, man. We're already at 90, so that's only 20 pennies away. And if this selling kind of continues back through the 30, we saw the kind of size that went through in that 30 area. Market taking a little bit of a red candle as of right now. But again, like I said, within the chop range that we've been pretty much doing for over an hour now. So Rohit Sharma, thank you for the super chat there. Let's go. Adrian saying, told you it was a short. Which one? What ticker
stock?
are you talking about, Adrian? I don't remember. But tag me again and let me know what ticker you're talking about. But are we talking about the market? The market.
Well, the futures haven't moved much.
SPY. I think maybe he was the person who mentioned the SPY a little earlier.
But if you looked at the look at the NASDAQ right now. Like this is an example of the move on the NASDAQ that we just saw. I mean, it's, failed break of the high just now, local high on a 15-minute. It's not really doing that much. I think things have rolled over. Like this is a rollover. The break of 30 here on Palantir, that's a clear roll, lower highs, kind of. I don't know what's the reverse of a frowny face, I guess what we call it. So smiley face is up and a frowny face is down. I suppose that's what we're looking at. So a bit of a rollback over on Palantir. And if that 30 was a wall before, if I see them refresh the 30 level, I think a scalp short would make sense. We're at 325 here, so there might be time. I mean, I got beyond meat, but now there's buyers right exactly where this thing started from. And as I said before, it's greedy to expect. It was doing nothing all day long, then broke out from 640, pulls all the way back to 640. Expecting much more than that seems greedy to me. So I'm trying to get out here on the 50s, and now it doesn't want to drop underneath 60. So I'm going to take that cue and just post a bid here at 62. Didn't mean to rhyme that, but it is what it is. I'm just going to get out of that one. Probably should have been short this at VWAP. Hindsight's always going to be 20/20, but then the next pop was until it got to $7, so we went over to that. So suddenly Palantir looks interesting to me, Obi. I don't know about you, but in the last 30 minutes,
I'm watching it.
Maybe a Palantir breakdown could be it. So there's the fill. You saw me move to 62 live. We'll ring the register on Palantir as somebody just wiped the entire level, which gave me my fill out. So Palantir's coming back into 30. There's some size there, but it's like 40,000 shares, which is nothing when it's done 78 million. I would like to see what happens if they print that order. Does it refresh or does it even break the level? If I see weakness, then I want to jump in on that short at the 30 level. And let's go to Adara.
We did have that move down in the market affecting quite a few stocks here, but worth noting Intel, INTC, with a bit of a larger volume candle to the downside at second largest on the day in the 3-minute chart. This circulating here on Twitter that the company is set to postpone its innovation event that was initially scheduled for September. I looked into this. This announcement was actually made yesterday. So Intel announcing as of yesterday, it's postponing its planned innovation event due to poor finances. But this circulating right now again on social media that Intel will be postponing this event. Also earlier today as well, we had this company Anaconda Inc. suing Intel in Delaware over over copyright infringement. So INTC, bit of a volume spike to the downside as we get some circulation of this previously announced news that their innovation event is postponed, guys, INTC.
Anaconda was one of those really good bad movies. Like you know what I mean? Like you got J-Lo, you got John Voight, you got Ice Cube, you have all of the ingredients. And then you have the dude that was supposed to originally be Marty McFly, but then he lost the job. Eric Stoltz, that's his name. Yeah, then he was in that as well. Like you had a legitimate cast, and then you have kind of a decent concept, and then just really, really bad animation just spoiled the entire thing. And that's what happens. Every time my brother watches that, my brother's an animator, and if there's mistakes that are made and easy things that could have been done better by, I don't want to say competence, it just annoys the living crap out of him, and then he just can't shut up about it. You should see watching anything animated with that guy. He's just merciless when he sees something that he doesn't like. But yeah, that was good. But when it's a nothing burger like that on Intel, don't chase. Because if that's old news, my first thought was Intel's going down because news just happened. Let's go over here and short to VWAP. But that's not a new piece of information for us, so you've got to be a little bit careful with that. So if it confirms underneath VWAP just because it was weak before, that's one thing. But I don't know if I want a new trade in it. I did jump into Palantir because the reaction was broke 30, got to 31, immediately snapped right back underneath. So the reaction to filling that level at 30 and breaking it up was to come right back down underneath. I ended up getting I got like 96s and 98s on the way back, so average price 97, and we'll see if this can just get to VWAP. If it breaks out above where it got to before, which is a couple of cents above, we'll just get out on Palantir. I'm going to keep an eye on Intel, but I'm not sure that's anything. If it's old news, I wouldn't expect an extreme reaction. The algo's probably just looking for something to do. A news story hits, they hit the bid, it moves a little bit, and there's no follow through because there's no juice to it. The real traders are like, oh, there's nothing there, so they don't hit the short as well.
Yeah, no, 30 I'm watching on this Palantir. Definitely think it might be a little interesting going into the last half hour. It is 329, guys, and we're just still kind of sideways as of right now. So let us know, what have you traded today? Are you still in any trades? Are you taking anything? Are you watching anything into the close? Did you trade Palantir? That was pretty crazy today. Somebody was talking about Tesla earlier. They're talking about something about a bull flag. I don't know what that really is, but no, I know what that is. But a bit of chart patterns can be, again, I think who is this? Mark Douglas says it well. Chart patterns definitely tend to repeat over time in the markets, but how they kind of conclude and what results off of them is random for the most part. So it's like, you got to build a story there. So I don't know. So a little bit of a consolidation above highs is what I'm seeing here. How I like to take a look at that. We did kind of break above on some strength, but that's what the market is doing, right? This is looking very similar to what the ES and the NQ are doing. We've broken above some of these morning highs, and now we're just chopping around sideways above some of those highs as of right now. So Tesla looking like it's catching a bit of beta there on the day. So
very quickly, 330 just hit. So the early look on some imbalances to end the week just came out, and of note is Lumen. Lumen is an early sell of 3.3 million shares. So that's not an insignificant number here for Lumen. Visa pairs off every time. TAL, that's a cheap stock, only 1 million. Nothing significant outside of LUMN. So Lumen looks like it's going to be the interesting one here. 3 million sell amounts. It's not moving yet, but I'd keep an eye on that because if it does come out, it's done 53 million shares. I know it's not a huge chunk, but based on the liquidity on the level 2, in a general sense, that can move the stock. If it does come out of 3 million sell, I would suspect there's going to be a little bit of price action here in LUMN. So I'll keep abreast of what happens at 350. You'll see that number become official going into the closing auction, but that looks interesting on Lumen. Jaspreet saying SGMO is over $1 on 16 million volume. Move maybe. Oh, it was over $1 already today though. Load. Yeah, I don't know. I like things trading at $1 when they're doing something, but that's just barcoding the entire way. Not a bad channel. If you can get if something started happening again to this, it does look interesting because it's higher lows into this dollar break, but it failed a dollar break today and kind of just held it. So yeah, came back on a dollar break today, failed it before, and is now just holding the line. Not a heck of a lot going on there. Let's see if Palantir can do something, but Tony Price, I didn't see your 70,000 order on Palantir. I've been kind of watching it in here, and I haven't seen a 70,000 order on Palantir. It did just resist 30 again, but VWAP.
Yep. Right there.
Look, VWAP is right here. Like I'm short at 97. VWAP is at 85. So this is just going to be bids to 85 at this point. If I'm risking 5 or 6 cents, then you better believe I'm taking 5 to 10 to 15 cents on the way down because that's just how it happens to be trading. So I got to respect the way that it's moving.
Yeah, for sure. When charts are moving, price action is talking to you. What I'm realizing day by day, you got to learn to respect that. You got to learn to listen and adhere to what Mother Market is kind of telling you there.
Listen to them charts.
Yes, sir. All right, so yeah, we're trading below that 30 right now. NVIDIA approaching VWAP saying Jetboy Limited. Let's take a quick look at NVIDIA, I guess. Bring it in. All right, cool. NVIDIA. Let's see what you're up to here. So yeah, a little distinctly different from the rest of the market. Pretty much has been only trading within its opening range all day. So a bit of an inside day there on NVIDIA. So nothing going on here other than a bit of range. And yeah, a bit of a sandwich between a couple of these anchors I got put on. I got it anchored off of Monday's lows, and then this anchored off of, I forget what this was, but a bit of a dip down into that 100. I think it was the 100 bounce on NVIDIA. Yes, it was the 100 bounce on NVIDIA. So a bit of a sandwich between those levels. But what's going on, Dara, with the sector watch?
Definitely a bit of a chop and churn day for the major indices and a lot of these S&P 500 names, but there are a few making some outsized moves to the upside today. One of them, of course, is Eli Lilly. A lot of range action right now, but this one's still up more than 5% after a pretty strong rally off the open. Analysts, including BMO Capital Markets, BofA Securities, Wells Fargo, Morgan Stanley, and Leerink, all raising their price targets for LLY after its earnings. We have Palo Alto Networks, PANW, near the high of day, up almost 5%, getting a price target increase from 325 to 350 from Barclays. They also report the week after next, so keep an eye on PANW in the coming weeks here. Last but not least, Akamai Technologies, AKAM. This one up more than 10% here after its earnings. They beat on EPS and sales estimate, and they actually raised their fiscal year 2024 EPS guidance while tightening its revenue guidance here. So interesting look here for AKAM. What a week and what a day it's been for these markets, guys.
What a day, what a weekend. Yeah, Eli Lilly. Underlay. We have in the after show, we've got Adara, we've got Ryan Faluna, and I know he's excited about Eli this morning. We'll talk a little bit about that and some other plays that he went over. Maybe even talk a little bit about IWM, which I know a lot of people have been interested in. So a lot for us to cover. Again, no major earnings after market, which just means we can have a little bit of fun. You guys can ask us anything you want. We'll do a Q&A. Ask Ryan anything you guys want as well. I think that's a lot of fun. But on the topic of Eli Lilly, strong. Yeah, my daily charts have taken the day off. But if you look at the way this broke out, now, there are breakouts, and then there are breakouts. That's the same thing, but you know what I'm getting at. This is like that, that strong like bull break off that 850 level.
Boy.
Unreal move, and we're talking clean to 900, and one little hiccup, and then 900. Clean resistance, and it doesn't move much because that's how the market's been this afternoon, but then the 900 level turning into a little bit of a problem for it. So let me just go back over. I want to check some other names here. NVIDIA's green on the day. Now it wants to go. NVIDIA's been battling this back and forth and back and forth. That trend, tried the trend break, didn't work. Actually would have been a good short. Throw this out the window because don't need it there. It's just a lot of chop and churn. Yeah, you could probably, if you just start guessing right, you can find some scalp longs, but you have to have a reason for all of those. Like Palantir saw the size at 30, take a shot. I think it can be worth it. Was trading it all day long to be able to try to read something. But this is a lot of chop here, and it gets you into so much trouble. I love the fact that it's trying to close green. I think that's a great sign for NVIDIA. Let me know what else you guys are looking at here. I'm going to keep my eyeballs on this Lumen because of that impending potential sell imbalance. When I say potential, just currently, it looks like there's going to be 3 million. Now, it's entirely possible before 350 hits, it gets paired off in one shot. Someone could be saving a buy order because they like the stock. They throw it in there, and then you get this thing paired and nothing happens. Or it goes public that there's 3 million to sell on a Friday, and Lumen, which has been doing this, gets a big sell imbalance on it, and then there's an opportunity to trade. Let me clean this. I don't need trend lines from a few days ago. So I'm going to have eyeballs on Lumen because it is moving. Trader CL. Ooh. I gave you Nikkei at 35,141. And I'll say this outright. We get a lot of fantastic calls given to us. And I wish it were possible to give credit to every single person who makes a great call or gives us a great piece of advice to go watch that stock, or you get something dead on. We love the community. It's impossible to read everything in the chat. Try to find some trades, execute those trades, try to entertain you guys, talk to each other, eat lunch, all that stuff we're going to miss. And I know it sucks when we do. So shout out to you, Trader CL, and keep them coming. That's what the community is all about here. on Trader TV Live is that there's always others that can benefit from that. So, you know, keep the good love out there. And for those that are asking, Sean is back from London, and we get to see how he did across the pond next week. So can't wait to see. We know we got to visit Adam DeLuze. That was a heck of a lot of fun. Why are you hitting that, Fabian? Don't do my boy like that. Come on now. No, we're happy to see him back. He got to visit Adam DeLuze, one of our longtime viewers out in London, so that was fantastic. Scott Angel, Palantir would like to see it close over. Okay, you know what? I don't disagree with you. Like, just there was selling at 30. I'd like in a normal world, well, not a normal world, in a normal sense, of course I'd like to see it close above 32, but like there's sellers in here that happen to be winning a little bit. And if it wasn't so late in the day, I probably would have reloaded this. I'd just like to see it pull into VWAP after I saw that selling. Just join it and try to make a trade. And if it flushed further than that, great. But it's not really doing a heck of a lot of movement. And if there was more, I think I would. You know, I think like if it was more time, I think I would have easily taken the shot to get more than this. But it's 340. I'm going to have to get up to the desk at 355 or so, but I don't want to do it. Adam DeLuze is in the chat. There you go. Yo. What up, Adam? There he is. Let us know. You have fun with Sean? Hopefully you guys had some, bangers and mash? I don't know. Had a couple of brews and had a lot of fun in there today. And what was, sorry, Fabian, I didn't hear that. Oh, okay, he's telling me to click this link. Take the TTV survey and be a part of the show. I think I've already done this, so if I go here, so if I open it up, I've already done it. You've already responded. Trader TV Live does Family Feud. So we got this idea that when things slow down or when we have some free time or whatever, we'll figure it out, that we can do like a trading-related Family Feud kind of thing. So you need to get a bunch of responses. If you know what Family Feud is, a bunch of questions. You get like the top 100 answers. You got to guess what the most popular answers would be. So I've already done the survey, so I can't really show you me filling it out. But if you want to join in something like that, click the link in the chat. If you want to be in the chat and engage with us, first you have to hit the like and subscribe. Subscribers only chat. So go ahead and do that. And if you want to be a part of it, check out the survey in your free time here, and we'll try to have some fun with that in the future. And apparently I need to update Chrome, is what I'm also finding out here. Why do I have to update Chrome like once a week? Or is it just me and I like forget to do it on every single one of the computers that I use? I don't know. It feels like I feel like I'm updating Chrome way too much, but that's on Google. There was a halt. PCRX is just resumed. Whoops, it's on the OTC? No. PCRX, I just typed PRCX. PCRX, it was just a resumption. Hold on a second. PCRX, circuit breaker to the downside. Where's the actual news here? Because that's a chart that looks like they're done. That's not very good. I'm just trying to pull it up on Benzinga to see what is actually going on here. That was a $22 stock that halted down, then opened up, and then halted again at $13.50. So not a good look for PCRX. Doesn't look like it was very tradable, but not looking good for them. Trading lower after the U.S. District Court for the state of New Jersey found that their patent, yada, 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 is invalid. So that is not good. They're considering legal options, including pursuing an appellate review at the U.S. Court of Appeals. And that's never good for any kind of biosciences company. Yeah, that's not a great look.
Ooh, that's a halt down, right?
It already halted down once.
Are they not?
And it's now.
When do they open?
It's 3:40. It's late. I don't know if we're going to get a reopen at this point. When it's this late in the day, it's entirely possible it could halt and then open up at 4 o'clock. Or it could open back up at 3:50. It's 3:40. That was a halt time. It could be a 45. It could be a 5-minute as well. So there's a lot of things that could happen here, but none of them currently looking very good for this PCRX. I can't pronounce it. Something biosciences. Why can't they just make it an easy name to pronounce? I can't pronounce it. Apple's running for the high of the day. This was a good long, and I guess it caught a bit off the 215. Let's go, Apple. That's what I want to see. I'm only in that Palantir trade. We did have Beyond Meat back into the low of the day, and that was the best out you could get. Goes to 650. All you could get was 650. It was a $7 short into 650. Take it out at the 3/4. Take it out in front of the 50 level. you take what you can get in this market, which has been relatively choppy. So at least we're able to catch something. Palantir is only giving you a few cents at a time here. I don't know what Uber is giving you, though.
Uber is attempting to push back down, a bit of a base like we talked about before at the 40 mark, and coming into the last 15 minutes almost on the day, it's pretty much done nothing too much. I kind of didn't get as much as I'm thinking, again, in retrospect, didn't really get as much as I really should have on this consolidation break, which happened after an extension. And then now we come back into VWAP, and VWAP had been holding as a bit of a resistance in the morning, and we kind of reclaim. We're coming right back into that VWAP and holding as support now on top of 6840s. Again, specifically, I have 6833 on my other chart here, and just above in the higher 30s here on the P Pro chart. So let's see where we come in. Again, I'm watching the 30-minute, I'm watching 15-minute chart. There's 40 seconds left for the 15-minute chart to close, and 40s have been a bit of a level here, just hovering on top of VWAP, and we're trading 45s now on Uber. So let's see what it'll do. Again, nothing really. I don't have too much on. I don't have as much risk as I really should have on the initial break, and I didn't really like putting on too much over here, but my average kind of got a little skewed. I would prefer to have my original average in the 60s, but it's fine. It kind of got up there, and I chose not to take more there. But a little bit of a pull coming right back in. Look at that. Look at this chart, 15-minute. That's how that 15-minute looks. Again, 2 seconds left, and we're about to close at the lows of this 15-minute candle. So let's see how we end up on that one. Nothing too crazy. Again, holding just a breadcrumb, I guess, on this ticker for now. Hovering above VWAP. I don't even know if it's going to get through VWAP, but the hourly candle with 15 minutes left to go, looking a little nice. Prior bar low, 68.39. We're trading about 10 pennies above that one there, Neil. So yeah, I don't really have, again, not anything crazy, not a top idea. Just something I'm like dabbling in going into the end of the day there, but I don't really see too much else. I guess Google.
Ask the 8-ball something. That's what I want to see happen.
Okay.
I came up with the question last time.
All right,
we got 15 minutes to go to end the trading week. So Obi's going to have to come up with a question. The Magic 8-ball is going to answer it here. Or if you take too long and someone puts a cool question in the chat, I'm just going to read that because that's all. I'm mean like that.
So look at this strength coming into Google, right? So this has to do with my question. Look at the strength coming into Google, coming into some of the weak highs there. I want to know if Google is going to get to this high, Monday's high right there. What is that? 164.44. We're about a point away from that. 15 minutes more to trade. Can we clip the high with this strength, a little bit of expanding volume going into the close on Google? That's my question.
So will Google
above
close above 164.44?
Not even close. Will it test 164? Can we get a print 164.44s on Google in the next 15 minutes? That's the question, 8-ball. Let's see what we got. No, get the funds out. I'm not even in position. Look at that. Okay.
Get the funds out.
It says get the funds out. No, get the funds out. All right.
So basically, everyone sell your Google according to the Magic 8-ball. We're not going to 164.
Only being bought on expanding volume right now, so we'll keep an eye on that one. As a lot of again chopping up, kind of just grinding now, holding this 18.6 on the NASDAQ. So nothing too crazy. It is 3:47.
3 minutes to lean bounces.
3 more minutes until.
Yeah. So they opened this stock up again. And it didn't matter. They opened PCRX.
It just dropped.
It opened, it dropped, it halted, and all before I could even pull it up. So by the time you pull the stock up, it's halted again to the downside. 13, it opened at $13. This was 19.5, then 13.5, then 13, then 11.7. Currently still dropping. Looking rather nasty. Yeah, there's now nothing happening. I'm going to tighten up the stop on Palantir, cancel. I still have my stop order on Beyond Meat, even though I covered that position, so we don't need it. And for some reason, I had a stop on Huge that I don't need because I'm not trading that stock anymore. So we'll probably I'm just going to punch out a Palantir for breaks ones or something. I'm going to watch Lumen because it has that imbalance, well, theoretical imbalance. It's an early look of 3 million shares. So if it comes out 3 million to sell, hold on a second. Yeah, we do. I'm like, oh, well, if I'm looking at this stock for a sell imbalance, I might want to make sure that we have locates on it. So I just did. We can go short on Lumen. Still looking like a sell imbalance of that 3 million shares. It's not doing anything right now. It's done 55 million on the day. But if there's something here, that's the one I want to watch. Of course, inevitably, if something large comes out on the imbalance, you'll hear me yell it out. Like I'll say something like, Tesla, 1 million sell imbalance, or NVIDIA, 3 million sell imbalance. Doesn't mean it's going to go up or down. But with the market going sideways here, it's exactly the kind of catalyst that could get some kind of movement on a bit of a slow Friday. Given the week that we had, though, just got to be happy, okay, I'm knock on wood, that the market's going to close up on the week. Knock on wood. If I just jinxed it, don't at me. It's true. We are up on the week, and I'm hoping that we close that way. It would be nice. I'm probably just going to get up flat on Palantir. It's just stopped moving altogether going into these imbalances, which less than a minute to drop here, Obi.
Yes, sir. So I'm just watching this Uber. I don't know if I want to really be in this one going into the close, but 30. Still, we're hovering around 30 there, Neil, on what do you call Palantir. So you know what? I will get out of that one. Thank you. Come again, Uber. I will, again, not really doing too much. Don't want to be risking, again, anything crazy on that. I was decently, well, not decently, I was in the money a little bit earlier, but not really what I was looking for. I was looking for a back through VWAP and maybe VWAP kind of coming in. But those 40s, again, talk about staying nimble, being nimble. When I see those 40s hold the double bottom on top of VWAP, I should probably be getting out some more instead of adding more to the position. But it is what it is. Where's the next trade? I don't really have one right now, but these imbalances are about to come out, Neil. Let's see what they do.
Intel buy 1.7 million. Lumen came out smaller than expected, 2.4 million. Peloton is a sell of 1 million shares. TLT shows up there for a sell. That's not that big at 1 million shares. Cisco sell 1 million. I don't see anything big here. Apple, there's Apple, 900,000 to sell on Apple. Palantir, that trailed me out when it broke 30. Buy of 850,000 there on Palantir. Ford, that's not a big number at 9,000. UiPath, that's interesting. Almost 1 million shares on UiPath. Could be a little bit spicy. So not that big. Intel 1.6, it's $20 stock now. That's not terribly significant. Path would be the interesting one, although it did not move at all. Brian Stewart, what's going on with Snow and Zscaler? For Zscaler, I would guess, I know PanW is having a big day. Could just be that adjacent cybersecurity names are benefiting today. That would be my guess. I don't know. I haven't heard any stories about Zscaler. He's kind of holding the highs there. Not much inside day, but holding above VWAP, which makes it strong. But then the market's doing a similar thing. Snowflake. This has been under a lot of pressure recently, Snowflake. I know they haven't had the best time. A little bit stronger, trending to the upside. Don't know anything crazy happening in Snow outside of hold higher. Now remember, Snowflake's very similar in terms of to Palantir. So its chart the last 2 days is like the Palantir chart. Hold on a second. Can I do this? Let me just bring this chart down. That's not a 15-minute. But if you look between the two, and I were to zoom out this 15-minute, which it's not letting me do, zoom, 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 and you look at the last couple of days, it's like breakout, big dip day, big rally yesterday, consolidation over, and then what do you see there? Dip, big rally day, consolidation over, slow grind up. So I think Snowflake's just following along what Palantir is doing on the overall chart. 7 minutes to go. I don't really see much of anything happening unless some imbalances came out of nowhere late, and I don't see them. If Lumen had been bigger, great, but it's not. That's a pretty small size and not doing much more of anything. What did NVIDIA just do? Not much. I mean, it's popping back into 105. That's not bad. But yeah, a bit of a chop fest here in the afternoon. Not much moving. I think it's worth keeping. Crazy. After what we had this week, you know, a little bit of calm action up at the top is not a bad thing. If they're not selling going into the weekend, a day is just a loose term. But if the market's not selling off going into the weekend after the week that we had, I'll take it. Like, I mean, that's better than the alternative. But yeah, we expect this to get back to last week's close and then just break it out and fill in the gap. That would be nice. But I think a lot of people, myself included, would have expected us to hit this wall and start to roll back over as people take some risk off going into Monday. But that isn't the case. We're holding up these tops.
Neil, take a look at this. Just like classic. Classic. Get short.
Ooh.
Look at that punch out. Look at that punch out. Because I'm like, imbalances are coming in. We clip highs. We clip lows.
Your beer's on me, man. Have a beer on me.
And look at that. I'm like, I'm looking for this move down into VWAP to break that 40 zone. I keep saying that 40 hold. Coming in and off the imbalances, Uber to the downside, breaking down VWAP as of right now. 20 pennies, 30 pennies away from where I punched out almost now.
Will Obi have a beer tonight? Don't screw up. The Magic 8 Ball's like 0 for 2. What does it say?
Bears versus Bulls say no. Come on, man. Come on.
That's 0 for 3. You're gonna have a brew. That's gonna be 0 for 3 on the Magic 8 Ball. Yeah. Bears versus Bulls says no. I'm pretty sure Bears versus Bulls says yes, Obi. You let us know in the chat. What's going on, Magic 8 Ball? We got to get some kind of a good answer out of it. We got 5 minutes to go in here. I don't know what's going on with this thing. It's almost like it's reversed. Like anything we ask, we get the answer we don't want at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, how do we do this? What should we do?
In the chat saying Uber to Uber.
Let me think of it.
Pretty much.
Already made.
Apparently, Bears versus Bulls saying no. Wow, 30s, 68 30s coming in now. Hello. But you know what?
Uber owes you money.
No, it doesn't owe me anything. I probably owe Uber a lot more money the amount I use it there. But market's coming in as well. 68 20s now on Uber. So yeah, 70s almost down 40 pennies, but it is what it is. That's perfectly fine. I'm doing all right on that. It's perfectly fine. I see people in the chat being like, "Oh, ouch," but whatever. What's the next trade? That happens sometimes. I was like, oh, imbalances are about to come out. Let me punch out.
Yeah.
Would you consider that an emotional decision, a rational decision, or just, I don't know?
It's normal.
Because like,
you tighten your stops up at 355.
So my risk, I can tell you what well, now that I punched out, I can tell you what my risk was. My risk was 75. So I was like, if it trades back above this break of the shelf, I'm out of here, right? So I was risking, but the thing is, by adding aggressively down here, I had the entries that I wanted in the high 60s initially, but by adding aggressively down here, I didn't want to hold it back up, I guess 20 pennies with what I kind of wanted to push into. But whatever, it is what it is. I don't know what the chart's gonna do at the end of the day, and it happened to clip the highs. It is what it is. But let me know in the chat what you guys have been trading. You only have 5 minutes left to go, Neil, until the close. I don't really see anything interesting on these imbalances, but oh boy, Palantir hovering, churning, 5 pennies above and below this 30 mark as of right now. So it's still an interesting area. Let's see if we get that continuation coming in to the next week. Bears versus Bulls saying, you do you. Yeah, of course. Adrian saying, have a joint instead. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll see where the night leads us there.
You can do whatever.
Yeah,
you can do whatever. You do you, man. Just have a fun weekend. That's all. Exactly. You deserve it, man. You always putting in work all week long for Sean. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he deserves it. Patty Ice giving the clap. That's what it's all about here, man.
It's been a fun time. I had a great time this week on the show. And yeah, the trading's been fun as well. Always looking to do a little bit better, and obviously sitting beside you, Neil, all week. Thank you for all your wisdom and Neilage.
Don't butter me up. Don't butter me up now.
But, no, dude, I'm becoming. I'm slowly, improving my trading style.
Those guys.
What's that?
See, I'm pointing right now to Wayne, and I can't.
No, of course.
And
Wayne
the other shot, you can see Brankles.
100%.
You just had a shot that maybe you could see Brankles' ugly head.
There's
that's Wayne. You can see Wayne's legs, and you can see his cowboy hat. It's shorts weather. Whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And Brankles as well back there. I mean, we have a great floor.
Shout out to Wayne and Brankles, man. Well. Honestly, those guys put in a significant amount of work. We're having a lot of talks, especially Brankles and I, and definitely has been helping my trading over time. And I love those guys for sure. And love you too.
I got to get up to the desk here because we got 2 minutes till the close. So I'm gonna crutch my way back up to the desk. Everyone have a lot. Seriously, I just peeked at my phone, and I have a WhatsApp message from my dad, and it just says, wow. I told everybody don't spoil it for me, and there's only one thing that could be, you've got to be my own father.
Oh, wow.
My own father just spoiled the track, guaranteed.
Oh, my. All right. That's kind of funny. Yes, Bears vs. Bulls saying, stay tuned. Yes, sir. We only have about 1:30, so I'm reading what you guys in the chat. Yeah, you guys are saying, I owe Neil Roberts a few apple fritters for sure. Neil Roberts definitely deserves all the apple fritters that he wants. Take a look at this. Google actually trading 163.60. So we didn't quite get there. So let's see what we close out here. But yeah, chopping up here on the NASDAQ and the ES, a little sideways close here. What a crazy week there. We pretty much bid back up, and I think we might have missed it, but Kyle Burdett, I do remember your super chat with the homework for that gap down and 5-day bid up. I'm just remembering it. I did read it. I'm going to do that homework over the weekend there. Thank you for that, and I'll get back to you next week potentially on that. With only about 30 seconds left to ring the bell here, I'm just kind of chilling, watching this price action, see how we close. Where are the spiders? Spiders sideways, 533s. We're closing at Amazon still 167. Oh boy, I like that level. We're still closing in and around somewhere there. But yeah, hope you guys have a solid weekend and hope you guys had a great week. I'm gonna hit the countdown here. What's going on? All right, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Pat. Yes, let's go. Hopefully you guys had a great trading day, but guess what? Don't go anywhere. I see them sitting at the desk. Don't worry. And PLTR, guess what? PLTR closes. What's the closing print here on PLTR? 30.01. Let me bring it in for you guys to see. Right here, closing print. Pull that open. What is that? Almost 2 million shares closing on PLTR at 30.01. So definitely staying an interesting level here on PLTR. Palantir, let's see what next week will bring us on that ticker here. As again, that 30, we saw 30 million notional sitting there being shown. Now there was a lot more iced, and that ice definitely melted a little bit as we traded higher and higher all the way up into the 30s, and we're holding that 30 as of right now, going into next week. So what a crazy week we have had. Hopefully you guys have a good week there. And all right, so I think they are ready at the big desk. So don't go anywhere. It's been a great week with you guys. Thank you guys again for spending your time with us here at Trader TV. Don't go anywhere, though. The show is not over. We got the market recap with Neil and Nadera. Take it easy, guys. Have a good one.
Let's get the party started here. When the market's been the party all week long, so thank you very much, everybody. Nadera's had a long week. She's been putting in a lot of work. And big shout out to Matt, who was one of our traders, ringing the bell, just giving them the thumbs up. I don't know if they're having brews over there or not. It's a Friday thing. Usually they do. But Obi needs to crack one because he's absolutely putting in work all week long. Want to thank him for filling in for Sean. Sean back from London, coming in on, actually I don't know when his flight's getting in. He'll be here on Monday. I don't actually remember when his flight's in. He might be flying in tonight or this weekend, but I don't know for sure, so it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, I think the most important thing that happened this week was the unbelievable recovery that we had in this market. And I tell you this with honest sincerity. When we sat down in the morning, I've said this 3 times today, when we sat down in the morning on Monday, it was, is there going to be an emergency rate cut? What is the limit down, rules, and levels for the overall S&P 500? That's things that they were talking about during COVID. And that's where the sentiment was Monday morning. And then all we're going to do on the week is bring it on back to Positiveville. That's what we did. Okay, so barely up the Qs on the week, but the last time I checked, It's still green on the week. Doesn't matter. It's just a green notch in the belt. So a great day overall. Good recovery on the markets. You did have, it wasn't all good. I think when we're going through sector watch here, the big disappointment, I would have to say, is we thought there'd be a move in the cannabis names. And if you look at what wasn't good today, MSOS is leading the way. So there was that positive talk that maybe the Republicans and President Trump, former President Trump, were going to be on the side of cannabis, and that would be the strongest position from Republican in a while. And you had some earnings this morning that on CGC, and you thought maybe you'd get some breakthrough. There was talk, of course, of the big short position for short. I don't know if it's big, but
it didn't seem particularly large, but it exists. And
a
that's all
short
retail
position
traders cared about.
Yeah, a short position in MSOS, and maybe you could have had a squeeze, and then out of nowhere it ended up being Beyond Meat that went to squeeze. I mean, who knows? We thought it would be MSOS today. I'd say that would be a disappointment, but across the board, strength. We certainly saw even gold had a good day. XBI, it was marginal for something like XBI, and I think, you know, at the end it was a decent day for biotech, but it was like Eli Lilly and pretty much nobody else, and that they've been doing a lot of the heavy lifting. It was the ability to hold green today rather than extend moves. Yet another thing that gave you recoveries off the bottom a couple of times this week. So it's not overwhelming what we saw in most of these sectors. Nothing's really going to stand out on the positive side. It was just across the board strong. I will say this, not everything was good. You just can't seem to get out of your own way here, Tan. There's nothing. The solar names have been under pressure. We had Solar Edge report this week. They're on the lows. Outside of cannabis, these were the dogs here today out here in Tan, and just not a great look for them. It was Sedge that reported this week. And I mean, this chart sort of speaks for itself. You know, it's not all has been rosy. There was a bit of a bid post earnings, but then it kind of retraced right back into those lows. Down 8% today, Solar Edge, when you were already at 52-week lows, essentially. So it's not all roses. A lot of things bounced really nicely. We're going to have Ryan Faluna on in just a little bit as well. But I can tell you this much. At no point, I just can't remember a time, Adara, when almost everybody on the floor was looking at the same thing and thinking the same thing, and it actually worked. And I'm talking about not the break of Palantir at 30. I'm talking about the move into 30 on Palantir.
That was crazy.
Almost every trader was not getting up from their seats. You should have seen it, because when the break happened, and after everyone had made the break and then it made the high around 30.20, I go to grab lunch. Not a single piece of food has been taken from the kitchen, because everybody was waiting for that move on Palantir today. And I'm not sitting here telling you it was maybe the greatest thing out there. You could make an argument that, you know, if you had something in like Unity went, there was a lot of breakouts through that probably had bigger moves.
Yeah.
But the patience required when this stair stepped up, it was $29 in the pre-market. It was 29.30 early, then some 29.20s, then 29.30, then higher lows at 50, then higher lows at 65 and 70. And I'm telling you right now, the floor was churning longs. I myself was doing it. I'm never that active scalping a stock as I was today on Palantir, and it was just longs all the way into 30. And the 30 break itself only went about 25 cents. The initial move 10 to 15, but it was a clean dollar move and an upward trend that almost every trader was bullish on that dip buy, and it just worked out all the way to the upside. So I can tell you it was the right place to be. Maybe you traded something else today, but I'm happy we were focused on that one. And I know Sean would be happy to see Palantir break that 30 level. But yeah, you're right there in the chat there. L87P, 29 was a big resistance. And when that happens and it flips the other way, you get the run up. But I said in the morning, I don't want to be long on the break. I mean, you can take it. I want to make sure we're long into the break. And sometimes it's just better. When there's that much gravity going toward a level, yes, you can take the breakout trade off of it. But if it's working so hard to get there, play the trend into it. Then when it makes the break, you're already up on the stock. And if it fails the breakout, so what? You still had a green day on that name. So there was a fun one trading that one. It was the most obvious thing to kind of talk about. Question to you here today, because I'll tell you right now, this was the kind of day that it wasn't easy. We essentially closed doing a heck of a lot of nothing in the afternoon. There were some decent reversals and things you could catch early, but the middle of the day, outside of Beyond Meat going nuts, kind of stunk unless you found a couple of breakouts here and there, like Tesla made a bit of a move, Apple made a bit of a move. Outside of that, it was tricky. So what was your trading day like, Adara, and what did you pick up from this kind of like a lazy Friday?
I think I learned a lot today. First, I want to comment on that Palantir 30. That reminded me that just the air around that break, the way everybody was shouting about how excited they were, it reminded me of NVIDIA 1200. So shout out to anybody who was involved in that break. I know Sharif got involved in that on the move up. So shout out to him. I am a little bit disappointed I missed that break. In terms of what I did trade, I had a level on Lily. I should have taken the Lily breakdown at 900. I wanted to, and I said that multiple times, and I watched it happen, and I didn't because I was like, oh, I want my retest. That would have given you $8 had I just taken that straight breakdown. It went right from 900 to 892. I didn't take it. I waited for the retest of 897. That level hit. It was giving me stuff on the book I liked, but we ended up having a wick up. I got stopped out, handled it appropriately, to be clear. Like, it wasn't like I overstayed or bag held, but I could have risked more because honestly, I could have theoretically risked into 900, and that could have been like my one trade of the day because it would have given you that move down. Alas, I did not. I ended up getting shut down in the day, and there were no trades I took today that I don't stand by. I just think it was one of those days where I should have just been on Lily all day because that did give you the breakdown. My levels came in, and at that point, I don't know why I was looking at anything else at any time. So bit disappointed, I'm going to be really honest, but it's just giving me the motivation to work even harder. You can like an idea, but that doesn't mean you love an idea, and that doesn't mean you have to stick with it. So yeah, not disliking every trade, but disliking enough that there will be some aggressive journaling. And you got to be more confident in the trades you love, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you this much. The breakdown at 900 was the best individual non-early long you could have had on this. Like, outside of like the early longs, once it hit the middle of the day here on Eli Lilly, that was it. And to your clear defense, we do the flip over at 11 o'clock. And I understand it's one thing. So when we start the morning show, we start at 8:30, and we've got time for us to talk ideas. And Sean, we're bouncing stuff away, and the market opens at 9:30. Like, if we had to start the show at 9:25, I can't imagine trying to be good at we're trying to get ideas in and talk to the viewers and then try to make a trade off the open. So for Lily to break 900 right after 11 o'clock when we just flipped to you guys and you're just starting to get into the groove of things, that's not an easy thing to do. And I can tell you right now, it would probably mess me up as well. There's a lot of trades. If you see a lot of, when I talk about missing trades, oftentimes that window between 11 o'clock or like the last 5 minutes of the morning show, 10:55 and like 11:15, when we've come down and we're kind of winding down off the show, I miss them. If something big happens there, I miss it all the time. And that's a consequence of doing the show live for you guys. No questions about it. I'll want to get up or just take a seat back or check my email or just take a moment. And if something happens then, that's that happy spot where unless I'm in something big in the right then, I'm going to miss the entry. So credit to you for finding that 900 break. It was definitely a good one. I know as we're going to talk to Ryan in a bit here, he's going to have a little something. I see him shaking his head. He's going to have something to say about Eli Lilly. But I'll tell you this much. Almost no trainee on the floor has the stones to trade Eli Lilly in the first place. When I was a trainee, there's no chance you would have caught me dead trading a $900 stop because it wouldn't be in my wheelhouse. So I said it before.
Thank you.
It takes a lot of guts. But the difference is you were trading this. And for everyone out here, Adara was trading Eli Lilly in the simulator the whole time.
I was, I traded a lot in the sim, so I knew how like the book moved. And that which was huge for the trades today and yesterday.
And that's what it's all about. You got to practice like you're going to play. So if you're trading XYZ in the simulator and paper trading it and developing your strategies off of that, when you go live, that's what you have to trade. The number one reason why traders who go live or graduate on this floor in the 20 years that I've been here don't make money is whatever got them live or whatever got them graduated, they put capital into other things that they think are good after the fact. So they don't do what made them money or what got them to live once they get there. They just start throwing capital at other things instead of sticking to that, build your base, And look, it doesn't matter how much you make on strategy X. If you're a novice on strategy Y, then you build up on strategy Y.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you make I've seen traders do this. They'll make a few $1,000s a day on strategy X, and then all of a sudden it's like, I should risk that on strategy Y. I'm like, you've never traded that before. What are you doing?
Yeah, that was my issue when I went live, is I was trading a lot of like these mega caps in the sim, and I was getting comfortable with them. And then live, for some reason, I was like, let's trade these like Bitcoin stocks and like Rivian. I didn't know how to trade those. Didn't go well. And then at one point, Sharif was like, so Adair, like, why are you not just doing what you did in the sim? And that was what made the difference. So I just wanted to speak on that, because it's like when you've watched it, when you know how it moves, you're more likely to trade it appropriately. And I was even comfortable taking NVIDIA when it was at 900 live, because I had traded it in the sim. So I really want to shout out the sim at Real Trading.
That's what it's all about. And that's the reason why every trader goes into the simulator, and we tout the campus program all the time, is because you need to get those reps in. Everybody has to start the right way. There is no cheat code to trading. There is no one way to have your journey, but every single path leads with hard work. I'm going to wait for, we do have? Okay, so we are ready with Ryan Faluna. So without further ado, you know what time it is. Hey, Ryan, I know we just talked the other day, but I'm happy to see that smiling face, and I know exactly why, but welcome. I trust your week was well. Glad to have you back here, Ryan Faluna, one of our good friends from Benzinga.
It was a great day. It was a great week, but we're going to start off with some more flowers for Adara for trading Eli Lilly, because my neck hurts so much from nodding back here, listening to the knowledge that you were just dropping there. I too, when I first started, could not even fathom trading stocks that were this expensive. And it took me years to learn that even trading 10 shares sometimes at a time can not only help you learn how the stock trades, but also end up pretty good, especially if you're day trading. So if you're doing that early and you're successful with that, big shout out to you. That's really awesome. Took me years to be able to do that.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it, because it's such a genuine thing. I know other people on the floor have said it too. It's not normal for new traders to be comfortable trading super expensive stocks. It really isn't.
It's hard.
It's a hard thing to do, and I love that you immediately said that, Ryan. And you know, the best thing about this community is traders get traders. Like, you know, like Sean likes to say, real sees real. Like I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna think in certain situations, because if you've been doing this game for a while, you kind of know how it is. Speaking about the game was a good one this week, Ryan. And maybe we're going to keep all this volatility forever. I know the answer to that is, generally speaking, no. Like, we go through our ups and downs, and this afternoon wasn't necessarily the biggest move. But there's been nothing wrong with underlay Eli the last couple of sessions. I don't know. I've been dropping that a couple of times here, because I liked it. Speedy Gonzalez. I grew up on Looney Tunes. But I know you've been involved in this name, so just walk us through Lilly for you today.
Okay, I couldn't even believe that this was happening. It was so perfect considering what we just talked about yesterday and then here again today. So let's go to the chart real quick. First of all, yesterday, I told you when I had this set up that we were going to let Mr. Market tell us which way we're going to trade this. So here's yesterday's session right in here where my mouse is. The exact same range is what I left on my chart today, and guess what the stock did? It gave us a trade exactly out of that range. But what is even more unbelievable is that yesterday it gave us a short setup confirmed, and today it gave us a long setup confirmed. And I made absolutely no changes at all to these drawings. These drawings were on there from yesterday's pre-market when I was setting that trade up. Also, after I got off your show yesterday, I heard, I think it was Obi that asked, what was my stop on this trade? Where do I protect myself if it goes against me? And as I said to you yesterday, this is the KISS method. Keep it as simple as possible. I'll let you fill in the letters there. My stop here is going to be the VWAP or some spot above the VWAP based on your own risk. I do not advise that you stop directly at the VWAP value because a lot of the times that might get tested or even push above it. Flush you out of that position, and then your thesis will continue. So what we got yesterday is we got a breakdown through the level, then we retested the level, but did not break above the VWAP. That was our trigger to go lower here. We collected the gain. Today, we went right to the top. We actually broke out of the top end of the range, back tested that same area of the range, did not lose the VWAP yet again. And guess what? We went higher here. This rarely happens. Rarely do you get a short trade and the very next day you get a long trade out of the exact same area, but that is exactly what we saw here with Eli Lilly. You can make no adjustments to the trade plan. Let the market tell you which side of the trade you're going to take and go ahead and get it.
Yeah, we like to call it the over-under. There was a trader on the floor who used to call that the over-under play. You have that significant price. Let the market decide. You just know what you're going to do on either side of it. And what's crazy about it's actually not that crazy, but I knew you were coming on in the afternoon, and there was a moment, I don't remember exactly what time it was in the day, when somebody said something or have a look at Eli Lilly, and I pulled up the chart. And the second I pulled up the chart, I was like, yeah, Ryan just banked today. I knew because we were talking about it before. I'm like, well, there's that 850. I'm like, that was about as clean as it gets. There's no chance. The only way that you didn't bank was like, oh, I really hope maybe if you weren't ill or something, or maybe you just got pulled away from your trade desk. I'm like, that's the only chance I knew that you wouldn't have been positive. And the cool thing about that is, I actually know this because I was trading Palantir today. Sean loves Palantir. I can say with 100%, usually it's like, maybe you would make if you were trading this day. I know Sean would have banked on Palantir today. He's having fun in London, but you know what a trader looks for. And when it sets up that perfectly, you got to be able to hit it. So I'm glad you did. I know you outlined everything, and it's easy to say, yeah, you had the call, so of course you made money. But it's not always that simple. How many times do we have a plan? Do we have a setup? And then maybe you're away from your desk, you get distracted by something else, you manage to bungle it, you second guess yourself. It's not always that simple. So as much as, yes, fantastic call, it's just as important that you got the execution and were ready to hit it when it was there for you.
Absolutely. And that actually kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier when you were stressing how important it is to get on a simulator. This is about reps. When you have a system and you're trying to remove emotion, this comes down to reps. And I don't care if you practice those reps on your account with a little amount, a lot amount, or a simulator. If you're practicing those reps, you start to build that mechanical process, and that's going to help you actually execute when the time comes. So it was great. Here's the other really good part about this. The last Friday that I was with you, I told you on Friday, I generally don't trade a whole lot. And that's exactly the case. But dude, when the setups are like this, sometimes you just got to. You mentioned Palantir, that 30 break. I was hooting and hollering too. I scalped Bind a number of times. That was a scalper's dream on the initial pop, then the curl back and the curl back up. Ended up knifing. But there were some trades here today. It's not always the case for a Friday. I'm glad I was here. I'm glad I was at my terminal. We ended a good week with a bang.
That's what I love to see. And with that, we'll do that. We'll hit the bang for you there. And it's so important. That, again, like I said, that was my fear because I knew he would say you don't always trade on the Fridays. And I'm like, the only way he didn't make money if he wasn't at his desk on Friday. So it's important. And you got to have a chip in a chair. It's important to say this. And I've said the other side of this, that in my first 10 years of trading, I was young, and I actually think it was a mistake not to have taken any vacation of times and traveled because I missed opportunities when friends traveled, and I said no to going on trips because I wanted to be there for the markets. So it is very true that you have to be there, whether there's opportunities or not. You never really know when it's going to set up, and you want to be in your seat when this is what you do. I just think there's a limit to that. You still want to make sure you have a bit of a balance, spend time with the family, travel, do your thing, have some me time, whatever it might be. But I'm so thrilled that this trade worked out. But I do have to ask you, though, because of what the market did, we had such a move on the Qs to get it all back, for this SPY to have all the doom and gloom of Monday morning, are we going to get emergency rate hikes, rate cuts? Are we going to go limit down on the market and then have us close the week to the upside? And so many names recover. But then I look over at so my question would be like, what are we doing with the Russell? Because that backed off and didn't hold the highs of the week. And and we know that one's pulled right back in. So the initial breakout that we saw was great on the Russell a few weeks ago. And that was treating everybody well. And then all of a sudden, we're pulling back in, and it's like, okay, what's going to be next here for the Russell? And the market did so well today, and the Russell didn't quite get over that hump. And I know this is something that you look at a lot, so that was my question to you.
Okay, so this is a really good point. Let me give you what I think is going to happen. And I'm going to go to 3 charts here on my screen to try and draw this picture for you. First one here is going to be the cues that you spoke about. We bounced clean off the 200-day. It should become more and more clear why I talk about this moving average all of the time. We bounced clean off that. And look, all we really did here was kind of fill a gap. Right? So let's see what happens next week. I don't mean to throw cold water on this whole thing, but all we really did here is fill a gap. We're actually still under this trend line that we've been in since November of last year. So let's just kind of hold out here and see what Mr. Market tells us again. Let's check the SPY and see what that looks like. Gosh, that looks awfully similar, doesn't it? Didn't quite get down to that 200-day, but this bounce back, we did close above the 100-day. That's the teal line there. That's definitely notable. But again, boy, we just kind of filled that gap. We are still under that trend line that goes back to November from last year. And finally, let's finish it off with the IWM, which is what you were asking about here. This looks a little bit different to my eye. Sure, we popped and broke out of this range and things were looking good. And boy, oh boy, did we really kind of sink back in, right back down to that 200-day, closing a gap here. But here we are. We're still at the top end of the consolidation range. We're not, broken down like we are in the Qs or the SPY. So I'm kind of thinking that if we get any strength in some of these smaller names next week, we get a test of this 50-day, maybe we break that, and then we have 212 coming here again. So again, I'm going to wait and see what the market tells us to do. But I'm going to keep this in perspective here. These charts look a little bit different here to me. And I actually think, maybe it is my bias, but I actually think that IWM might be primed to try and go higher. We'll see if we get that signal next week.
Yeah, I've been looking, and I was kind of hoping that would happen today. Like, it was, as we kind of started cresting up to some of those highs, I'm like, hey, just get there, get there, get there, get there. Let's test it. Let's get some more information. And we didn't get it. So as you said, you got to wait. And that's the thing. Traders can get impatient. I do it all the time. You're staring at a level. As a matter of fact, I mean, the very first trade I made today on Apple, like there was a 214 resistance on Apple. I'm like, okay, if we test, I don't think we're breaking out early in the morning. I want to test short in front of this 214 because I don't think we're going to break the top right away. And it's been like, it was like a triple top. And then you had the Friday low from last week was the same level as well. And then the first thing I did is get in short at like 213.25 when I saw sellers come in. Like, oh, what am I doing? I just get in. It's like you didn't wait till the level. So traders will get impatient. If you have a key level, just let it get there. Grab a Snickers. Do a crossword. I used to do crosswords when I traded, when I was waiting for things to happen. But sometimes you really have to. And I find sometimes it's guilty on the show. It's early. I'm not in anything. I want to take a quick little snipe. But patience is an absolute virtue. So I think you're right about that on the Russell for sure.
One more thing here about patience. This is the saying that we kind of have going, kicking around over here. Remain patient or you'll be one. So just stay patient so that you don't end up in the back of an ambulance getting carried out because you tried to be a hero, right? Remain patient, otherwise you will be one. My whole thing here is with pretty much any trade that I'm going to take, let the market tell me, right? Like I have my own thoughts about what's going to happen, but this career, more than any other that I've had, will humble you and will do it quickly. And it's important to be able to adjust on the fly and be able to react to things that you maybe didn't anticipate. Yeah. Great when we have trades like Eli Lilly, when it works out like a textbook, but that's not every day. And anyone that spends any time in this market knows that. So having a plan for when things go awry, incredibly paramount.
It's so important. And like you said, I love that saying. I held up my crutches because I am a patient right now, but it wasn't because of impatience. It's because I'm over 40 and I tried to play soccer with my daughter without warming up. And so ruptured Achilles later. But anyways, no, it's a really important thing. And we've said it, like most of the worst trades that happen for traders, the way A, you don't accept that you're wrong. B, you don't take a trade that is your setup. Or you put capital towards something that doesn't make sense for you. And impatience is one of the reasons that happens because you want to be in something and you're getting FOMO. You take a trade that's not part of your plan. There's nothing wrong with waiting to get your chips in good. I think that's a perfect sentiment, Ryan, and a good way to end things off here. So it's been an awesome week. I can't congratulate you enough on that Eli Lilly trade. I think it was fantastic. You don't get it laid out as clear as that so simply. And then I want to give a shout out to Adara. That 900 break was golden. Golden.
Thank you.
You had that was outside of the long. That was the best. It was a clean breakdown. It went $10 right away. That's about as good as you're going to ever get in that situation. So I want to congratulate you there. Thank you so much, Ryan. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. We look forward to talking to you next week. No pressure, because now you have to give some ideas that are just as good as that Eli Lilly one was. So thank you, Ryan, and have a fantastic weekend.
No problem. I'm on my way to the golf course. I'll start thinking about it.
There we go.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
that round there. Oh, man, I wish golf. I can't golf either. And this has nothing to do with the leg. I can't actually golf, the same reason why I don't play I had to quit. I played baseball for 20 years in my men's league. I had to give it up because I have a back issue from twisting. So it's like I can't do any twisting motions, and it gives me back problems. So, and it's like a degenerative thing, apparently, so my doctor says. Kind of sucks. It's not a disc. It's called facet syndrome. Oh. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of like an arthritis in the spine, but everything else is fine about my back. It's just I can't do Russian twists. I can't swing a baseball bat. Can't swing a golf club. It kind of stinks. So it's, but it is what it is. Let's have a little bit of fun here because it's close to 4:30. It's that time of day. What?
Clean Spark earnings.
Oh, Clean Spark earnings. That's right.
Yeah.
No, Adara, you're right.
Guys,
you're right.
About that, yeah, I did confirm these came out. They also, once again, released it not at the time they said they were going to. They said this morning, it turns out they said, oh, we'll release at 4:30. This is not 4:30. This came out around 4. Thank you guys for letting us know in the chat. Twitter seemed really suspicious of these earnings, but I did confirm them. Shout out to Ryan Fluna and Benzinga. I got these numbers from Benzinga. They missed on earnings per share. They lost $1.03 per share. Analysts were expecting a loss of 4 cents per share. I have no words. Sales also missed here, $104.11 million. Analysts were looking for $110.88 million. However, they did announce a partnership with Coinbase. Apparently, they've acquired $50 million revolving line of credit, collateralized by a portion of Bitcoin holdings, quote, to help take advantage of opportunities in the marketplace at a low cost of capital. So in yet another, this day could not get more exciting, Neil. Every time we think, oh, this day is over, we get like a weird news, like the bizarre GNS headline that I would literally watch a Netflix movie about because I have so many questions. I need to know everything about Roger James Hamilton now. But that's not the point. The point is Clean Spark here with a big old miss and this Coinbase partnership. I'm seeing something as well about DJT. Apparently they made some kind of post-market announcement. So sorry to cut off the roll call here. I just want to make sure that we cover all this here news before we let you all go for the week. Yes, okay.
Not much.
So this got announced at 4:30. Apparently they've entered registration rights agreement with this World Connect IPTV solution. Just so you guys know, this did happen. They also apparently reported earnings. So a smaller than expected loss per share year over year, but their sales were down year over year. Apparently their sales this year, 836.09 thousand. Last year it was up 1.19 million. DJT, yeah. They
have earnings?
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing here on Benzinga.
Okay.
Sorry, I just wanted to cover those before we.
I'm just being facetious.
Sarcasm.
It was just sarcasm. Well, I didn't even realize they were. Like, it doesn't even show up that they were supposed to report any numbers tonight. Right? So a little surprising. Yeah. The Clean Spark, it was actually down pretty heavily at one point. It's just rebounding back to 11.15. It's down 8.5%, which considering when you delay earnings, it could be a heck of a lot worse. I think a lot of times you delay the earnings when they come out, everyone's expecting it to be really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
And so down this much and catching a little bit of a bid. Let's see how it goes. But it is that time of day. You know what up. Thank everybody in the community right about now. And I actually just saw some chatter, the Piper talking to some other people here in the chat, everyone helping each other out. And that's what I love to see. We have the best community out there. So drop that thanks, get your name in the chat so Adara can give the roll call.
Yeah, shout out to everybody here. Sorry, guys, for the speed of my voice, just naturally kind of how I talk. I'm a very excited individual, and these markets get me even more excited. Shout out to Neil. Shout out to Fabian. Shout out to Obi, who's still here, killing it all week. So shout out to you. And also, shout out to everybody in this here chat. Bears vs. Bulls, Pineapple Undies, Hey Davis. We've got TH. We've got Adam DeLuce. We've got TH again here. Roberto. We have Real Dixon. We have Michael. We've got Video News, Ari Pages. Brandon Townsend, Easy Trader. We've got Mike Breeze. We have Mahishu. We have Neil Roberts and Neil Roberts right next to each other. Confluence? Oh, boy. We've got D. Schniznit. We've got Miguel. We have Adam Khalifa. We have Mark L. We have Hey Davis. We have D. Schniznit again here. Adrian, Pitch Bull. Thank you very much for the kind words. We appreciate it. appreciate everybody out here killing it every single day. Love this community. Cerise, yay. We have Maria L. We have Yannick Patel. We've got Easy Trader. We have Miguel. We've got the Piper here. We've got Mr. Ian, Ronaldo, Nicole, Adam DeLuce once again here, Michael again. We're getting a lot of repeated names here, but thank you guys so much for Bright Awakening here. J-Boss, Armando, thank you guys so much for being here. I love being here. I cannot wait to see you guys all here next week for what should be another pretty spicy week in these here markets.
A spicy week for sure. Whether it goes up or down, we trade it, we talk it, we let you know what our ideas are going to be, and we try to make it a little bit of fun. That's all you can ever ask for. Thank you so much for Fabian on the ones and twos. By himself all week. A little bit of help from Randy. I don't know if you can tell when Randy's on the ones and twos as opposed to Fabian. I know I can. Oh, we love Randy around here. But thank you guys so much for another fun and entertaining week. It's been fantastic. And a shout out again to Obi for filling in for Sean, who's back on Monday morning from London. So we look forward to it. You know what to do, everybody. Rest up. Have a great weekend with friends and family. And we're right back here, 8:30 in the morning, Trader TV Live, to do it all over again and have some fun. Have a good weekend.
Bye. Oh.
Ooh, look at that. Fabian, man.